And do we have someone doing a prayer
Should be on the agenda.
on the agenda? Of course, my agenda's not open.
Pastor Bob Scott.
Pastor Bob Scott,
Please
if you come on up for the prayer, and if we'll have Commissioner Latvala do the pledge afterwards. Please stand.
Good morning.
Commissioners and staff, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm Bob Scott. I'm the pastor of the church about a block from here, the Pink Church. And in fact, our church was the site of the original courthouse where our sanctuary sits today. So we have a long history together. Let's pray. Great and gracious God, let us just begin today by saying thank you. Thank you on behalf of all of the people here today, those joining these proceedings online. We say thank you.
Thank you, Lord.
We thank you for the gift of this new day and for the blessings of family and friend. We thank you for the blessings of work and the delight of leisure. We thank you for the beauty of creation, for the diversity of your people, and for the privilege of living in this corner of your kingdom. But I also would say we come here today with troubles. We are troubled today, troubled by the news of the day, troubled by war in Ukraine, troubled by our own culture wars, troubled by threats of violence in our state surrounding the legal proceedings occurring this afternoon in Miami. Lord, we are a people that seem to be so deeply divided. And we may not be able to change everything. We may not be able to change everything in our world or our nation or even our state today, but we can change some things. We can start by changing ourselves. We can start by governing our own hearts and minds. We can commit to working together to change the world around us, to make it a better place. So today I pray for those who have dedicated their lives to doing just that. We pray for our civil servants who show up every morning and roll up their sleeves and get to work and keep our towns running. We pray for those who serve and protect and put their own safety on the line every day for our sake. We pray for our healthcare workers who care for our population. We pray for teachers who have been tasked with a Herculean task of educating our young. And we pray for those whom perhaps we may not always agree with, but those who have the courage of their convictions and are willing to speak up and advocate for the marginalized and give voice to the voiceless. Together, may we make a world that is better for us all. And so here and now, we pray for the women and men of this board, whom we have elected to lead and to guide. We pray that you will give them the wisdom to govern well amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times. Give them a keen sense of what is needed for the welfare of all our citizens. Give them a keen thirst for justice and righteousness. Give them a confidence in what is good and fitting. And give them the ability to work together even when there is honest disagreements. And Lord, give them a joy and satisfaction in the task that we and that you have entrusted to them. And so I pray for the agenda set before them today. Give them wisdom, intelligence, imagination, and love, that as they debate and decide, may their decisions made here today benefit all who live and work in Pinellas, and may they please and honor you most of all. In your most blessed name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are you all set?
No.
Me neither.
Thank you, everyone. And I have a couple of announcements I'd like to make as we get our meeting started today. I'll make those first and give Commissioner Peters time to get her.
Got it.
You got it? Okay, good.
We're all set.
In the meantime, I haven't had the opportunity to get my voting machine going, And so what I would like to share is that I would appreciate it if we could pull item 55 from our agenda today, and we will take that item up at our next board meeting. Secondly, out of respect for everyone's time, we have a very unusual number of folks who have signed up the cards to present, and I would like to let you know ahead of time so you can be preparing mentally that I'm asking everyone to please limit your remarks to 2 minutes. And if, for those of you that have signed up that are from California, Michigan, and other parts of our country, if you would limit your remarks to 1 minute and/or waive in opposition or support, it would be very much appreciated since we have a rather long agenda today. And with that said, let's move to presentations and awards, if we could.
And Yak is first.
Well,
I think Yak is first.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Morellis, where are the cards?
This,
so
we do
Yak
the
is,
youth
Advisory
advisory first.
I
Committee.
understand that, but I usually have the cards here, and I don't have any of them.
I'll give you the cards later.
Okay, thank you.
okay, and so,
Sorry about that.
yeah, so Leah will be coming up,
All right.
okay? You can go maybe after, she's got a presentation, and then maybe after go down? Well, you take a picture with her. Okay, so Leah, are you here? Great, good to see you. Come on up. And so these are our 2 members of the YAC, your Youth Advisory Committee. And they had a great year, and they're going to tell you all about it, so I really don't want to talk too much. But I would say this year we had the most diverse group of participants so far, which was very representative of the county. We had a fantastic engagement with the YAC subcommittees and planning throughout the year. And I want to say a big thank you to JP for all the hard work that he and his team have done to help YAC be so successful this year. So Leah Wissing, who's the chair of YAC, and Judson Van, the vice chair, are here today to present YAC's accomplishments for the year. So I'm going to let them speak on those. And we are working on some really exciting things already for next year, which is great because they've planned so well that we've not planned for the year before or the year following, and they've already got so much work going for next year. It's amazing. So I'm really proud of this group, so go ahead without any further ado.
Good morning. My name is Leah Wissing, and I just recently graduated from Largo High School.
And my name is Judson Van, and I attend Clearwater Central Catholic High School.
And we are part of the Pinellas County Youth Advisory Committee for this year. So, yes, like I said, my name is Leah Wissing, and I just graduated from Largo High School. I plan on attending Florida Atlantic University in the fall, majoring in marine biology. I was student government president at Largo High School, captain of the golf and softball team, and I was a member of multiple national honor societies.
And then, as I said, my name is Judson Van. I have been on YAC since I was a freshman, and I'm currently a junior going to be a senior at Clearwater Central Catholic. I was junior class president, student ambassador vice president, senior vice president, and a member of the CCC baseball program for all 3 years I've been there.
So this year, our YAC meetings, we met monthly from September to April to discuss service projects, tours, and other community-related topics. YAC meetings utilized an agenda that accomplished the goals of the committee. The meetings, which were run by leadership by ourselves, and we covered old business that required follow-up and new business items and group discussion on future tours and projects.
And then some things about the YAC members. We started the year with 26 members. However, as the year progressed and got busier, we averaged about 15 members attending meetings. Despite this, we were able to make many accomplishments through our service projects and connect to multiple different tours and learn about the county. Many members were dedicated to the committee and often looked to assist in any way possible.
So this year, we toured Heritage Village, Florida Botanical Gardens, Pinellas County Public Works and Traffic Center, and Felipe Park. And then this is just a few pictures from when we did the Public Works tour.
And then some of the service activities, two of the main ones that we participated in was the Gandy Beach cleanup with Keep Pinellas Beautiful, where we collected a total of 30 pounds of trash. And then another one that we do is the Valentine's Day cards for All Children's Hospital. And then these are pictures from the Valentine's cards. And I had a connection to the All Children's Hospital, which was able to get the cards distributed there to all the kids. And then this is the Yak beach cleanup that we participated in at Gandy Beach, where we got 30 pounds of trash.
So looking, that's you.
So looking forward, we are looking to do a career fair day, which is going to showcase different types of professions, allow high school students the opportunity to learn about possible future careers, and further students' understanding of their areas of interest. Kind of the main goal of this is to help allow these students, and including me, get a better understanding of what they might want to do in college when they go, or if they don't want to go to college, know what they want to do in the future. And that's kind of looking forward. And I do look forward to hopefully being on Yak again next year and being able to help assist with this as much as possible.
So this year we designed, we had the original logo that one of our Yak members designed, and then we also have T-shirts this year. So, and those will be distributed at Yak this week.
That's nice. Yeah, that's nice.
Thank you so much for letting us present to you and share Yak.
Good job.
Thank you.
Great job.
Great job.
Okay, now you can go down.
I love hearing from them.
Yeah, that's good. For the last one.
Requesting to speak this week.
I'm just gonna raise my hand. I don't understand this thing.
Oh, could we do a picture with the
Yes, I'm just going to call them. So the Yak students, I'm so sorry. Could you come back up so we can get pictures, please?
No, it's all right. I can stand back here.
Okay. And this is our proclamation for Pride Month. So I'd like to ask Nicole Berman, of the Executive Director of St. Pete Pride, Todd Richardson, the Pinellas Development Director with Equality Florida. Hello. Hi. And Mark Esperanza, the Equal Opportunity Coordinator with the Office of Human Rights. Come on up here and join me, please. They'll be accepting the Pride Month proclamation. Many of the residents, business owners, and employees of our county government within Pinellas County who contribute to the enrichment of our community are a part of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and questioning community, LGBTQ. In the movement for civil rights under law for the LGBTQ community, a monumental turning point occurred on June 28, 1969 in New York City, with the occurrence of the Stonewall riots. In the 54 years since, LGBTQ celebrations have taken place across the United States in June to commemorate this historic event. Every June, the St. Pete Pride Parade and Festival, the largest pride event in Florida and one of the most celebrated in the world with over 250,000 attendees, takes place right here in Pinellas County. The Board of County Commissioners is committed to supporting lawful activities, visibility, dignity, equity, and security for all communities within Pinellas County. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Pinellas County Board of County Commissioners that June 2023 be recognized as Pride Month. Which one of you would like to speak? Okay.
Chair Long and the Board of County Commissioners here in Pinellas County, thank you so much for recognizing the importance of Pride Month. Now, more than ever, we need people in power to stand up with us and for the LGBTQIA community and recognize that we are all wonderful, loving individuals and all have a right to live authentically. And that goes for everybody in the community, not just us. So we greatly appreciate your support. And as the Executive Director of St. Pete Pride, I would invite anybody who has any interest in learning more about what Pride means to come down to any of our celebrations. They are wonderful, they are open for all, and they are a wonderful accepting place where everybody can come and be themselves. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and you forgot to add in that they're a lot of fun as well.
They are a lot, yes, they are a ton of fun. They're a very good time.
All right, here you go. You want to get a picture? Come on.
Don't step on Lou.
Okay.
For our partner presentations, I would like to call up Kathy Perkins, Director of Emergency Management. And where are you, Kathy? Oh, there you are. Thank you for being here. It's that time of year again, right? All right, well, thank you.
Are you declaring no hurricanes?
We're missing two. Commissioner, it's your pleasure. She can start if you wish.
Go ahead and start.
Yeah, you can start.
Terrific.
No
Thank you so-
hurricanes, that's all we need.
No
to hear.
hurricanes. I cannot make any promises, Commissioner. If I could, if I had that power, I would certainly do that. So good
Amen.
morning to all of you, and thank you again for your time this morning. I wanted to provide you with some updates on the many things that not only your county departments have been working on, but also our many partners. We do have this year's 2023 hurricane guide. It's been being passed out to all of you. We have it in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese this year, and a big focus of what we put into our guide this year is what happened to the south of us last year with Hurricane Ian. And I think as people here in Pinellas County saw what happened down there, it's a very strong reminder that very easily could have been us last year. It was a 20-mile shift in that storm as it came off of the coast of Cuba. We were very fortunate in what impacts that we had last year. So we really want to stress to people what those impacts are. We want people to understand the risks that they face, and our message this year is to get ready, get set, and to protect yourself when those risks occur. We're really focusing on the risk messaging, looking at not just the cone of the storm. So we hear a lot about that cone and where the trajectory of the storm is supposed to go. What people aren't looking at is that bigger picture. How far out do the winds extend? How far out do the rains extend? How much rain are we going to get? And also the storm surge. If you remember back to Hurricane Ian, when you looked at the wind swath, it was basically the entire state of Florida. When you looked at the rains, they were projecting 20 to 22 inches of rain, and we saw the devastating impacts that had, not only on coastal communities, but also many of our inland counties as well. And the storm surge, if you think back to Hurricane Ian, when we looked at the storm surge, it was basically the entire west coast of Florida was at risk for some storm surge. And that's really what we want people to focus on. One of the things that we did this year is we reached out to our meteorological and media partners. We brought in our regional counterparts from our other counties. We also brought in some of our social science experts because we really wanted to talk to our media partners. They are the ones that have the most face time when a hurricane is coming. We wanted to talk about how can we be more symbiotic in our messaging in terms of where the risks are and what people should be preparing for. So we've spent a lot of time with them, and I think we saw some great fruits of our labor come out of that. We spent over an hour with one news channel, and we spent an hour and 45 minutes with Bay News 9, working on them with not only their hurricane planning and their hurricane specials, but also really talking to them about the behind the scenes. What is it that we're looking at when we meet with the executive policy group, when we come to you as commissioners and ask for that local state of emergency? What are we taking into consideration when we make those evacuation orders? Most of us, when we think about hurricanes, we're only thinking about ourselves and our homes. Those of us here at the county, we have the responsibility for our entire geographic area. So we're worrying about the 1 million people. We're worrying about the 250 long-term care facilities. We're worried about the 256 mobile home parks that we have out there and our vulnerable populations. So it's a very different perspective from our point of view and really looking at having the time to make sure that we can get everybody safe. And we saw, unfortunately, a reduced number of people seeking shelter and evacuating last year. And our partners over at the University of South Florida did a study to try to understand why were people not evacuating. And some of the comments that we heard back was people were concerned about getting stuck in traffic during an evacuation. So one of the things we'll be doing this year is working with communications and public works traffic management to be able to get information out to people in terms of what does the traffic pattern look like. And we also want to stress that you don't have to evacuate hundreds of miles. You only have to evacuate 10 miles to get inland to those non-evacuation areas. We also heard that people didn't realize that there were services available. So they didn't know that we had pet-friendly shelters. They didn't know that there was transportation available. They didn't know that there were special needs programs. And unfortunately, we saw some people down in Lee County made decisions not to evacuate because they didn't know those services were in place. So we're really stressing that and getting that information out to the public. The other thing we wanted to really focus on is that we heard that people didn't understand storm surge. So we changed up our graphic. We worked very closely with our communications department, and you can see this, the picture that we have up here on the right of the slide. This is our new graphic for storm surge. Our communications department helped put this together. We really wanted to show people that what it looks like when that water is coming in. We actually heard an anecdotal story out of Lee County that some people, when they heard there was going to be 10 to 15 feet of storm surge, they thought that meant it was only coming in a short distance inland. They didn't think about it being a vertical risk. And we certainly saw the images coming out of Lee County where buildings were actually getting swept off of their foundation. That storm surge lasted about 6.5 hours. So that's a lot of devastation in a short period of time. And this is why we ask people to evacuate. And we wanted to stress, too, that even if you're not in the storm surge area, the entire county could be affected by winds and rain as well. So we want people to prepare for that. We're going to be also doing daily press conferences with our partners to try to get in front of the media more, talk about what we're doing here in Pinellas, really get that message out to our constituents. And this is preparedness season, so we've been spending lots of time training this year. We've trained over 190 shelter workers, 230 people on damage assessment across all of our municipal partners. We just did a big WebEOC training for everybody. We just had our biggest recruitment of e-ambassadors. We had about 18 people come in. These are volunteers from the community who help us go out and do presentations. We've had a huge increase in presentations this year. We had 17 this time last year. We've already done 55 presentations this year out in the community. 32% increase in participation of people compared to this time last year. We've done a lot of exercises. So last week was our big exercise week. We met with our executive policy group. We had a big meeting with all of our department directors, and we had a full day of exercise at the Emergency Operations Center. It looked like a full activation. We had so many agencies there, so much great discussion that was going on. We've actually been really working hard to get out to some of our isolated populations. So our non-English speaking, persons with disabilities, aging population, youth, homeless, income challenged. We've really been trying to make sure that we're reaching those people that are probably at the greatest risk and need our assistance the most. We had our big hurricane preparedness day at High Point Elementary a couple of weeks ago. We estimate that we had over 650 attendees. That's double of what we had last year. So the community is very interested in learning more about what they can do to prepare for hurricanes. We had 36 partners there. We had over 200 people attending presentations, and we did 523 Know Your Zone lookups just at that event alone. We'll be hosting our second annual Deaf Day this year, so we partner with agencies that serve the deaf and hard of hearing. We had 132 people attend that last year. So we really are expanding our services out as much as possible. The Office of Management and Budget has been working on a cost recovery plan. This is huge, right? So we do all this great work, but we have to make sure that we document that very carefully. And they've been very successful at already recouping 48% of the costs for Ian from FEMA. And just to give you an example, they've recouped 71% of the costs for COVID and 98% of the costs for Irma. So disaster and cost recovery are things that can extend out many years, sometimes even decades. For Miami-Dade, they didn't close out Hurricane Andrew for 25 years. So making sure that we've got all great documentation as we go through is extremely important. Our Public Works and our Parks Department have been having discussions about sandbags, working on that. We've been working on webinars for the business community, mobile home communities. We've got webinars coming up for the condo associations, homeowners associations, and we'll be working with communications to do a video for new residents that are coming into Pinellas County in the state of Florida. And we also held a communications workshop. So Clayton Parrott last year responded to multiple counties to help get up their communications when they had absolutely nothing. So he shared his experiences. We had the director from Hardee County come up and share their experiences. So we're proactively working with BTS on what are some of the other additional communications that we need to have in place. And certainly satellite communications have become a lot less bulky and a lot more nimble and affordable for people to use. Some of the after action items that we brought to you a while ago that we've been working on. So BTS has been actively working on the Know Your Zone site. Last year we had over 1.5 million hits to Know Your Zone for Hurricane Ian. We were getting about 50,000 hits an hour. And a couple of reasons that we were having issues with that was one was how the data was getting processed. So they've streamlined that. And then Esri, who hosted the servers, had multiple areas in Southeast United States on the same server. So everyone in Florida, as they were hitting that same server, it slowed everything down. So now we have a dedicated server through Esri just for Pinellas County. So we've really been addressing that so we can avoid those issues in the future. We have also designed a backup server that we can switch over to just in case there's any issues on the platform. And BTS has a system now where they can monitor real time how many hits are coming in, and they can see if the system is starting to slow down. For our Ready Pinellas app, so the geocoding feature that we had in there last year did not work. So if you were in the middle of the road instead of on in a property proper, it wasn't picking up your address. And the other issue we had was we had an automated feature in there to indicate if you were in the 3 or the 5 day cone, and we were not happy with how that worked. So we've replaced that with our Ready, Set, Protect messaging that we will manually flip over ourselves. And that will give people action items that they could take for each step as we move through this. The other thing that we've done with Ready Pinellas is we've added Spanish content to all of the areas. So we can make sure that language is not a barrier to access that. For our special needs program, so we had 5,200 people on our registry post-Hurricane Ian. We did a 4-day call down with numerous partners. We did mail outs, and we've cleaned up that registry to 4,100 people. So we want to make sure that we have the right addresses, right phone number, and we've updated what their medical needs are. For debris planning, a debris working group was convened, and this group brought in the contractors that we have. A couple of our contractors did a lot of work down south, so we got to hear from them firsthand what their experiences were, how they handled vessels, how they handled vehicles, how they were doing burning, how they were doing reduction. We are working on finding out from all the municipalities the potential debris management sites they're using, and Public Works is working on getting contracts to include additional sites. As I mentioned, our contracts currently include vessel and vehicle removal. We're prioritizing reduction. We had a great conversation. We did a regional call with a lot of our different counterparts and how they handle debris, challenges that they have. And even talking about long haul, could we take debris even up into Pasco County? And Lee County shared with us how they handled the sand. So they were actually able to filter up and clean the sand and put it back on the beaches. So they didn't have to actually get additional sand to do their beach renourishment. So that's a big cost saver right there. So again, we're looking for the best practices that, that our counterparts that unfortunately got hit harder than us put into place. And we're looking at the public messaging. They're updating their plans and their SOPs. And that public messaging is a key thing, because if people put their debris out incorrectly, if they commingle their household goods with tree debris and hazardous and household waste, it makes it very difficult for the haulers. And that, unfortunately, is the stuff that can sit by the curb for a long period of time. So making sure that we're getting the community to understand the best way to sort and put their debris out at the curbside. For shelters, we've been doing monthly meetings with our shelter managers. We created teams to work with schools on training as well, so we can be more cohesive in our approach. We've identified behavioral health workers through schools who can help us out in the shelters, because we know what a stressful experience that is. And Human Services is working on a contract to bring in supplemental staff. We did that last year during Hurricane Ian, and it was very successful. Actually became a best practice for the entire state of Florida. So they'll be bringing that contract to you, I believe, in July. The county administrator helped us out with getting shelter staff and asked every department to give us 16% of their staff for sheltering. Again, we want to make sure that we have the staff in there to support people during an evacuation, during that stressful time. We're continuing to work on step-down shelter sites. We've identified one in Largo, and we're working with St. Pete to do a walkthrough at another location. We're also going to go back out and look at our Palm Harbor Community Center, and we just met with Oldsmar on Friday. So it's really important that we get our community partners to help us with identifying these sites, so we can take that walkthrough, we can look at what facilities are available, what are the wraparound services that we need, so we can pre-plan for that if that site is still available after a storm. For disaster housing, we've been gathering information from the state about all the efforts that were done down south, and we'll be having a disaster housing workshop in July. We want to get a better understanding of how much space do we even have in the county, how many of our lots could we even put travel trailers on or RVs on, you know, what would the hookup system be, what are the permits that need to be pulled, so we can have a flow chart that makes it very easy for us to kind of step through this to help try to expedite this system. We saw down in Lee County that their first travel trailer wasn't placed until December. That storm hit the end of September. So this is going to be a challenge for us, but we're going to continue to address this. And we sent out emails to all of our hotel and motel partners, encouraging them to join the FEMA transitional shelter program that they have. So we actually saw some of our local hotels after Hurricane Ian make hotel rooms available for disaster victims, and that's paid for by FEMA itself. And the other update I'll just mention, if you remember the Everbridge system, if you remember getting an early morning alert one day. So the state is going to be ending their contract early with Everbridge. We're going to wait and see who the state goes with, but this is a concern for us. This is used by multiple departments, multiple entities across the county. We're very grateful that they didn't end that contract the end of June in the middle of hurricane season. They've delayed it until the end of December. But this is something that we want to make sure that we get right, because we use Everbridge a lot to communicate emergencies and get information out to our public. And as I mentioned, our message this year is to get ready and stay informed. People can find information at our website at disaster.pinellas.gov. That's a one-stop shop, so you can go there for blue sky information day to day to get preparedness. And then when we come into an event, that's where we put the press releases, what shelters are open, all the current information that our constituents can find. We encourage people to download the Ready Pinellas app, and certainly they can sign up for Alert Pinellas and get information sent directly to their phones. Once a storm is coming, we want people to put their plans into action. That's when we want them to get ready, making sure that they have everything that they need, make sure they know where they will go if they have to evacuate, and how they will get there. As the storm progresses and gets closer towards us, that's when we need them to get set. So that's when you're putting your action into place. That's when those evacuation orders are being called. That's when we need people to secure their homes, bring in all their lawn furniture, and then the protect time. That's when the conditions start to get really bad, and that's when we need people to shelter in place. So again, we really want to stress for people to stay safe, not only during the height of the storm, but even immediately after, until we can get out there, get the roads cleared a bit, make sure that conditions are safe for people to move about. And the one message that I really want to leave people with, and I want them to think about this, is that time is the one resource that you cannot get more of. So from the time that we're in the cone and that storm is coming towards us, the longer you wait, the fewer options you have. So we want to make sure that people taking this seriously, and they get ready, they get set, and then they protect themselves. With that, Commissioners, I'll open it up for any questions.
Questions, members? Any questions, Commissioner Justice, and then Commissioner Flowers?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Where are we at with conversations with our long-term care facilities and the gap as far as when we want them to start evacuating and what their policies are?
Yeah, so we've been meeting with the long-term care facilities. We actually brought in some of the ones that chose not to evacuate because we wanted to understand what was happening in their decision-making. One of the things that we're going to do is we want to be more clear on our messaging. One of the things that we heard was that we've never called for a C evacuation before. So I think in some people's minds, because we've never done it before, it wasn't going to happen. So we had facilities that were in a C zone, and they thought they could actually bring in other facilities. So we want to be more clear about the decisions and what we're looking at. We knew early on that the National Hurricane Center was projecting that Hurricane Ian was going to be a catastrophic form. They were talking about a Category 4 storm early on. We had talked with the National Hurricane Center about it being Cat 3 evacuation. So we want to make sure that we're being clear with them. Before, our messaging just wasn't clear enough. So we want to make sure they understand. We've had some facilities that have talked to us that wanted to remain in place. So we've really sat down with them, showed them what that storm surge could look like to their facility, and really impress upon them that they need to move out of harm's way.
And Commissioner, on that, we had some facilities that were really looking at, we're trying to get them to move with a lead time. We may need to call for a partial evacuation and designate long-term care facilities because the clearance time for them to evacuate. And we're trying to narrow that down because obviously we don't want to cry wolf, and you're trying to but it takes us longer for them to clear than it does moving general, residents and stuff. So we've got to look at maybe even modifying how we do these evacuation orders. We want to make sure that we get a real clear indication, but there's a clearance time for them to be able to evacuate residents out of a long-term care that's longer than others.
Yeah, I think, during Irma, we saw, I think even not just long-term care, but general residents. During Irma, I saw several community leaders say, why are they calling for this evacuation at this time? Not really understanding that you can't get everybody off at the same time, and you have to do it in stages. And so part of that education is not just general public, but some of our leaders. I just want to thank you all for everything that you all are doing to get us ready. I think what you said at the beginning, probably in my lifetime, Ian, more than any other storm, it seemed to, when we saw the sites there, you could take those and overlay those more clearly in Pinellas County than any other storm I've ever seen. I picture that one pass, I immediately thought of John's Pass. And so hopefully people are taking heed of the education and the warning that you're providing this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Flowers.
Thank you. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. On your second slide for your risk messaging, where you show actually the surge issues, and even for evacuation zones, Z, E, and D, so many of our residents feel like because they are in D or E, they don't have to evacuate at all. And so I'm glad that you have this depiction, because what it shows is they would still receive 2 to 4 feet of potential flooding, maybe more depending on the weather. And so I'm really glad that that shows there, because a lot of individuals in certain communities feel like I don't need to evacuate. But one of the things I would hope that we also are doing is that when we have facilities that locate their residents, whether they are the home ALF facilities and they're locating their residents to one of the shelters, that they understand that someone should be assigned also to be with those individuals, much like they do for residential treatment facilities and whatnot. I had a chance to volunteer for a few hours at Gibbs High School, and some of the facilities were just bringing the persons and not having anyone with them, and no one knows the medical condition. Some of them didn't have their medication. Certainly they're older persons, so you don't want to just put them on the floor. Some people think we still provide cots. Cots are not provided. You have to bring your sleeping bags, but the school board does sometimes provide mats and things like that. So hopefully there will be some additional conversation with persons about that, just to make sure that they are aware that the persons running the shelter, they don't have those qualifications or skills. Some of them, the medical, yes, the medical shelters, but the other shelters.
Yeah, so
they
we do
not.
have the 3 special needs shelters, and those for the general population, the people that sign up through our special needs program. For our residential facilities, like ALFs and nursing homes, they are supposed to have a plan in place that says they will evacuate to another qualified facility. So coming to a public shelter or utilizing the county for resources is an absolute last straw effort. And unfortunately, we saw this last year, and this is why we want to do the study for how many entities all say they're going to the same place. You know, so if it's a building fire, that's easy. It's easy to locate another facility in and help them out. But when we're talking about a hurricane and potentially up to 90 facilities evacuating, you can only absorb so many, and that's one of the things that we saw. So we're really stressing upon them, like looking at, especially if they have sister facilities in other counties, other areas of the state, you know, even looking at hotels and motels. We have some facilities that have gotten very creative. They have contracts with after-school programs for buses to be able to help transport people. Some people are going into like ballrooms in hotels, but those facilities are supposed to have alternate facilities to go to, have identified all of the supplies they need, the food, and take the staff with them. A big challenge for us is trying to get our home health care agencies to help us, because there's a lot of people in our community that get day-to-day services, and we haven't gotten great support from the home health care agencies bringing their staff in to help us. So that's an area that we will continue to work on.
And then my other question is, and you probably are doing this, what type of communications do you all have? Because what I've noticed, and I'm sure you've noticed as well, is when there are the early warning evacuations, those from Key West start evacuating up. And then you have Broward County, Brevard County, so everyone's evacuating up. They all come this way, of course, and continue on. And so should they stop, they begin to take up those hotel rooms and possible places for persons to stay who may have to evacuate from this local community into higher land. So what kind of messaging or partnership are you doing with them? Like you just said to us, it doesn't necessarily have to be 10 hours away. It could be 10 minutes away. But then that cone of uncertainty comes, and so now you're having to move again. So
Yeah, the evacuate tens of miles, not hundreds of miles, is pretty standard talk from a lot of emergency managers, because we worry about gridlock. We worry about that, and we saw that with Irma, right? People came from southeast Florida, they moved over to the West Coast, the storm came around to the West Coast, they moved over to Orlando, then it cut through Orlando. You know, these storms, they're not 100% where they're gonna go, you know, and that's why people have to kind of pay attention to the trajectory, where those risks are. And then again, if you can stay close to home, that's a better option. That's going to always be a challenge, I think. People are, and there are people that do want to go out of state, do want to go far away. So we'll continue to work on that on a regional basis and getting that information out.
And I echo Commissioner Justice's fabulous job. Thank you so much for all of the work that you and your entire team do.
It's a great team. Thank you, Commissioner.
Anyone on this side? Anybody? No?
Commissioner Scott.
Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and Kathy, excellent presentation. Thanks for all that information. There was a lot to take in there.
One of the comments you had I thought was interesting was that some people thought that a 15-foot storm surge meant that it's just going to come in 15 feet further rather than 15 feet up. So, and I've mentioned this before, something I think maybe we should talk about as a county is putting those, those storm surge markers at just key points so that people have that visual. Oh, that's what a 15-foot storm surge is. My house is going to be underwater.
Yeah,
So-
that's a very powerful, I've seen those,
Yeah.
Hillsborough County has those down near the power plant down there. I
There's
know when
one
you're
in
driving along in
Pasadena.
your car and you look up and you're like, oh my. Yeah, yeah,
I think
agree.
there's one in Pasadena, I think so. I got one
By the
too.
public.
I think
Yeah.
there's some down near some of the schools down there, yeah, yeah. That's a great
And we need to
suggestion.
do it not just over on the beach, but, last year, we were looking at a storm surge of 12 feet in Oldsmar. Okay, that would have taken water to Tampa Road.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're not thinking that, Shore Acres, think about that. Shore Acres,
Venetian Isle's gone.
Venetian Isles, Shore Acres, Safety Harbor, Oldsmar. I mean, that's significant, and I drove around there at wee hours of the morning under an evacuation. People didn't evacuate, and then we were preparing for rescue because we knew what was gonna happen. So luckily it didn't, but we've really gotta reach out to them because we're not gonna make the call unless we have to, but when we have to, time is of the essence.
Yeah, so when we just met with Oldsmar, they were telling us that they were seeing that their water consumption in their city was still about 85%, even after the evacuation. And I thought that was a really interesting way to kind of see how many people are still in the area. And then I think that's where we want to work more with communications, get back out in front of the media, make those appeals. Hey, we've got to get out there, sending out more of the Everbridge and the wireless emergency alerts to the community to really stress they need to get out of harm's way.
We do have some tools, Commissioners, where we can target neighborhoods. And so we have some technology that'll help us with some of that communication.
Oh, Kathy, I'm speaking to a community group tonight. If you could give me a couple dozen of these, it'd be great to bring with me.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Thanks.
So, Kathy, I would like to echo everyone's comments about thanking you and all your folks for how hard you work and what you do to keep our citizens safe. And I'm assuming that you are working closely with our municipalities and communications, since they can also help us, help citizens as well, in terms of locations that you need and that sort of thing. They may be aware of some in their own boundaries that we're not thinking about. So,
Yes, absolutely, Commissioner. And Barbara's group has a great regional PIO group that meets on a regular basis, again, making sure that we're being consistent across all of our communities for the message that we want to get out.
perfect. Thank you so much. Let's pray we don't have to
Yes.
use all of this.
Yes, hopefully you won't have to see me again. So, but
Not that we don't love seeing you, by the way.
Thanks, Kath.
All right. Ms. Clerk Burke, please come forward. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
We haven't seen you up here for a while.
It's nice to see y'all. And following Kathy, one of the things she mentioned was the FEMA reimbursement often takes years, and the cash needs that are immediate. And when we had our workshop meeting concerning the reserves, one of the things that we talked about was Lee County and how much cash needs they had. I had the opportunity to host the clerk from Lee County recently. He's a new clerk, and he came up here for his new clerk training. And their cash demands were just under $200 million of immediate need.
Whoa.
And in Bay County, when they had to go through their hurricane, they had to take an emergency line of credit. Now, Mr. Burton and I have talked about this. We feel in Pinellas, and if you think about it, the cash flow of the county, the money's come in November and December, the ad valorem. You're at the poorest time of the year, cash flow-wise, during the last half of the year. But we feel through internal borrowing that we could handle the cash needs of the county. Having a line of credit's expensive. And if we could avoid that, why do it if we can borrow internally? We haven't set up that process yet. That's something we need to work on. But Kathy, thanks for maybe setting a little fire under me to make sure that we do that so that the cash needs are met. Because you can imagine what the cash needs would be in Pinellas County of a hurricane the size of what hit Lee County. But that's not the reason I'm here today. First of all, I want to acknowledge Darylyn Revy, our board records manager, and Katie our board recorder who's here today, who takes the minutes from your meetings so well. I appreciate their good work. And I also want to introduce our finance staff who is here, Justin Hansen. Wave, Justin. Finance people are bashful. Bill Seither and Jeanette Phillips, who of course is the finance director for the clerk's office in Pinellas County. We issue various reports as part of the clerk's office. One of the ones that we're proudest of, because it's so thin, is the debt report. But this is something, all these reports that I'm going to be showing you today are going to be delivered to your office today. And we're delivering lots of copies of one of the reports because that's one, Brian, you're going, or Mr. Scott, you're going out to see citizens. You may be interested in that report. But the debt report shows each of our debt issuance, the interest rates. In working with the clerk's office and OMB, we've been very aggressive about refinancing to get the most favorable rates. We can be very proud not only of the low debt, but also of the low interest rates we're paying. These are very enviable interest rates that are no longer available, that we were able to maximize on. All our debt is sewer debt. That is, because of new accounting laws, actually, there's some lease things that are debt, but the real debt that we consider where you make regular payments, all sewer debt. So we have no general revenue debt, which most counties in the state of Florida do have. We also have what's called the Citizens Report on our finances. This is something where you'll be given multiple copies. I think we have like 50 copies for each of you. We'd be glad to print up more for you. These are ones that citizens, you can give out at citizen meetings for people who are interested in knowing more about the county's finances. It presents it in a very snapshot viewpoint. So I want to let you know about that report. This is good for nights where you can't fall asleep and you would like to read a more comprehensive report. We have two reports. One is called the Annual Financial Report. This one is mandated by the state of Florida. We are required to submit this to the state of Florida. It contains the financial statements for the county, all our discrete units, the airport, the enterprise funds, and also all the constitutional officers are in this report. This report's also part of your packet today. This report is one which does not include the constitutionals, but includes the general county government, and is used mainly by folks who are looking at our debt, who rating us. The rating agencies use this report. This is the one we submit to GFOA for a certificate of excellence. With that certificate of excellence, which we've had for over 40 years, it grants us a lower interest rate on our debt. So it's a meaningful report because anytime you just save a few basis points on millions of dollars of debt, that's a tremendous amount of savings. So that's an important report. Also in both these reports is what's called the single audit, and that's the audit that's done on all of the grants we receive. We receive grants, the county receives grants through its different agencies. The sheriff receives grants, the supervisor of elections receives grants. All those grants are accounted for in what's called the single audit. Again, lots of eyes who award those grants review that part of the report, and that's a required report. So I bring your attention to all those important items. Also, as clerk, it's my responsibility to take care of the county's investments. We have an investment policy, which is your policy. It's my responsibility to carry that obligation out. Our investments do follow the policy exactly as you all have specified, and we're very proud of this, our stewardship of those monies. Always making sure that we have availability of cash, that we have the dollar that we invested is always there. We don't invest in risky things. That is prohibited by our investment policy. And then third, we chase yield, but that's at the very end. Security, liquidity, then yield in that order, and that's how we look at our investments. We've always, the clerk's office, for all this to happen, for these reports to be issued, and as our auditor will tell you, we've received a clean financial report, but I'll steal a little of your thunder there. His pages in this report probably are less than 15, 20 pages. The rest of the report are all developed by the clerk's office. And for this to happen, takes tremendous cooperation between the clerk's office, the other constitutionals, and the county administrator. And the clerk's office has always enjoyed a very good relationship with our county administrator, but I want to give Mr. Burton credit. Our relationship has been exceptional. The communication level is very strong. We talk about things in advance. We try our best to coordinate items. It involves cooperation with the county departments, and so my hat's off to Mr. Burton and to his team, and to Mr. Rose, the OMB director, in the strong cooperation. I know all of y'all are very active in FAC, and when you go to those meetings, you'll hear horror stories of other counties between the clerk's office and the county commission and the county administration. That doesn't happen here in Pinellas. As a result, we stay out of the paper. Good financial reporting is not newsworthy, but it's something that we should take great pride in because we jointly have the trusteeship of taking care of the taxpayers' money in the most prudent way possible and making sure that every dollar dispersed is done for a public purpose. We have very sophisticated processes and procedures here in Pinellas County that ensure that. Sometimes it slows the process down, but that's a cost we're willing to pay to make sure that it is prudent and that we are doing the best in representing the taxpayers of Pinellas County. So we should take great pride in that. Again, we're not going to get a news story for good financial reporting or for things going right, but it's something that we take very seriously here. We're also very fortunate to have our auditor with us today, John Weber. John, this is our farewell to John. Crow has been our auditor for the past 10 years. Unfortunately, Crow did not submit a proposal. They're de-emphasizing their government portion of their business as a national accounting firm. Apparently, more money could be made out of the private sector clients than the government clients. But it's been a wonderful relationship with Crow. Having a good auditor, having a solid staff that doesn't change constantly, it really helps our office. It's been a wonderful relationship with Crow, and we were actually very, very sorry to see that they were not going to continue on as our auditor. I also mentioned that under a new statute, which probably Mr. Vela helped pass, there's a new way of for audit committees to be formed in a new process. It was the first time we observed that process under the new law here in Pinellas County in selection of a new auditor. Y'all had a designated person. Each of the constitutionals either had to represent themselves or have a non-employee representative. So the supervisor, the tax collector, the property appraiser, and I all served representing ourselves in that capacity. The sheriff appointed a citizen member. You all appointed a citizen member. So it was our first time working that way. We had a 3-hour meeting virtually to go through the audit process. Purchasing did a magnificent job in setting it up, and we've selected a new auditor. It's the firm of MSL. Keeping with accounting tradition, they just go by initials. And they will be our new auditor. So that's always a challenge for the clerk's office and for the constitutionals whenever you have a new auditor because they're not used to our processes and procedures. So we're going to have a lot of fun this year with that. So on that, I'm going to publicly thank John for Crow & Associates' great work relationship with us and introduce him to give us his outside auditor's report. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, on behalf of the commission, I'd like to say we're very sorry to see you not
Thank you.
be here.
I appreciate it. It's been a wonderful 10 years.
And you've kept us out of a lot of trouble, so that's a really good thing.
Well, they keep you out of trouble. I just let you know you're out of trouble.
Okay, fair. That's fair. Thank you.
I've been
Thank you,
working with
Mr.
many of you
Clerk.
for 10 years, so, yep. I'm just going to walk through for the next 3 hours, about 200 and something pages.
You'll be here by yourself.
I want to go out with a bang, right? So we're just going to talk a little bit about the audit results and then some comparative data I normally give you each year. So most important is the independent auditor's report on the financial statements, and we issued an unmodified audit opinion. Many times people refer to that as a clean audit opinion. That means that the financial statements are reasonably stated in all material respects in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. You cannot get a better opinion from an auditor, so that's the best we're going to give you. The independent auditor's report on internal control over compliance. This is done in accordance with government auditing standards. And basically what we're doing here is looking at the controls over the financial reporting. And if we notice any material weaknesses in those controls or significant deficiencies in those controls, we'll report those to you. I'm happy to report to you we had no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. The independent auditor's report on compliance with federal and state grants. So you receive a lot of federal money and a lot of state money. Our job is to look to see if you spent that money in accordance with laws, rules, and regulations from the federal government as well as the state of Florida. Again, unmodified opinion. That means you did comply with all the requirements of the grant agreements and requirements for the grants that we did look at, so that's great. Also, we do look at controls over the spending of the grant money. It's just as important, and we had no material weaknesses, significant deficiencies in those controls, and no findings or question costs. And question costs means we saw something that maybe wasn't appropriate, you should return back. So we had no question costs whatsoever. So kudos to everybody here at the county. We work throughout the entire county with a lot of people getting this process done. You know, it's a pretty steady 4-month process, a couple thousand hours worth of work. So we couldn't do it without everybody here at the county and everything they do for us. So we also issue many other reports. So this is just kind of a list of those reports, all the constitutional officers, some special reports for the FAA, and all those reports, again, are unmodified audit opinions. We do look for, so the state of Florida has requirements related to Deepwater Horizon, investment of public funds, and then emergency E911 receipts and expenditures. So we need to test that you complied with those requirements of the state of Florida, so we do that, and we did not find any non-compliance, so everything's all good there. And then finally, in a agreed upon procedures report we issue related to the solid waste management facilities letter, and we had no exceptions with that. Okay, so some of the information I'm going to show you, just, you know, again, this is from 2021 reports, because when I put this together, I didn't have the availability of all the counties that we show this data with, but I do present 22 and 21 for Pinellas County. So you can see your employees actually went down, number of employees from the prior year, so that you're currently at about 169 residents per employee. It was 164 last year. So, you know, the amount of employees you're using to service all your residents in the county actually decreased this year from the prior year. And you can see what some of the other counties are at. Your general fund, the fund balance, is about $242.7 million at year end. That is a, you know, a bit of a decrease from the prior year. On the right-hand side, what that's presenting is your number of months expenditures and transfers that you have in fund balance. So basically, you got 3.7 months of ability to pay your bills, right, of your total budget for the year in your general fund balance. And that's just down to slightly, you know, from 3.9 months from the prior year. All right, here's your favorite slide every year. So my last time going over this after 10 years, right? So there is a slight change on this slide. So you're going to see that for Pinellas, the number went up from 21 to 22. So there was a new accounting standard in place, GASB 87, that has to do with leases. And basically, all of your leases are considered a capital lease now under the new standards. So your future payments on all those leases are now reported as debt on your financial statements. So that's the reason for that increase there, basically. But still, as you can see, compared to some of these other counties, no debt, right? Compared to a lot of them. And on the right-hand side, you actually see your debt per resident, basically, which has always been and continues to remain very low. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And again, I want to thank you certainly for the opportunity to work with you over the past 10 years. It has truly been a pleasure.
Likewise. Commissioner Flowers, Commissioner Justice.
Good morning. Thank you so much. It's nice meeting you, and sorry to see you go. I'm not sure this question would be for you or for Ken, but on page 149 of the combining statement of net position, internal service fund, we have our deferred outflows of resources, pension-related deferred outflows. Does any of that refer to any FRS payments? And if so, how or will this be impacted based on the recent legislation that just passed?
So your deferred outflows for the pension-related, yes, that does relate to the FRS system. a deferred outflow, best way to explain it, is basically a future year's expense, kind of like unearned type revenue. Those numbers adjust every year based on actuarial data.
Okay.
So the state of Florida, right, they run the pension fund and they hire actuaries. The actuaries do calculations, and really that's what
Determine how
drives
that
all
is.
your numbers. Nothing you do can change your numbers on the pension.
And Commissioner Flowers, as you know, the stock market took a hit during that year. So that obviously increased the liability. That figure's fed to us as far as the FRS liability by FRS each year. And simply and that was an accounting change made around 8 or 9 years ago that we had to include that as part of our financial statements. In the past, we did not. But the number has increased tremendously, the liability, just due to the stock market downturn. Now, the legislature did respond to this by increasing FRS rates this year, and it's going to have an effect on the county, not as drastically as they might have. One of the bills, the Senate bill, I think, had it increasing drastically, but it's a slight increase compared to what was being proposed. So that's, the philosophy behind that is to help the FRS fund. It's still extremely well-funded pension compared to other states.
The only clarification to that is there's two pieces, so you were correct. So the stock market took a hit, and so there's an adjustment to the rate. So we took a hit with that. And then on top of that, the legislation did have a material impact, not as bad as it was going to be, but it had a material impact. And you'll really see that in the sheriff's budget regarding the FRS total rates that we need to pay because of the enhancement to public safety officers. So.
Okay. Thank you. That was the only question I had.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mr. Justice.
Thank you. On the change with counting the lease function in there, and I assume it balances out, like we have a significant income with lease with the airport, and we have other, I guess, we lease. But I was more curious about looking at our comparable counties, what kind of amount we're leasing versus others. Are we kind of in the ballpark, or is there a standard, or I was just kind of curious of a comparable.
I would say there is no standard on that. It's just, it basically, I can't think of a standard that you can compare it to.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's not a good or better because every county's a little bit. I was just kind of curious about, what.
We had to go through a process. I think we analyzed around 300 leases to determine whether they should be the expense lease or they should be capitalized. And I think out of the 300, how many did we estimate? Around 200 we had to recategorize as capitalized? Around 100, I exaggerated. So about 100 had to be capitalized out of the 300 we analyzed. So it gets to be like if you have a copier for 5 years and that's.
Gotcha.
Where before the monthly payment, you just expensed it.
Right.
And now you take it and now you capitalize it and show it as a capital expense and instead of just a cash out expense.
And everyone's on a level playing field as far as how all of this is evaluated more globally.
Actually,
Should be.
GASB 87 was pretty clear on how there was, for those accounting nerds, we went to lots and lots of sessions on the execution of GASB 87.
Okay. And John, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate your service to Pinellas.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
One last thing I would like to mention is I had in my notes and skipped over it, is we should be very proud, and the clerk's office is extremely proud of this, of our spending in the Sunshine site. There is no more robust county's transparency site than our spending in the Sunshine. It shows every employee under the BCC and under the clerk's office, our current salary, our year-to-date salary. It shows every expenditure the county makes and the clerk's office makes, available in real time, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. And that side, I think, shows our commitment to transparency in finances here in Pinellas County, in addition to all these financial reports. Thank you again for your time today.
If you don't mind, real quick,
Yes,
I just
ma'am.
want you to know I utilize the CAFR as a part of my doctoral, and I want you to know that piece, flying colors.
Excellent. Do I get a master's degree or anything as a result, Commissioner Flowers? if
You can
get your
pay off my debt
PhD?
for my doctorate degree.
Unlawful public expense, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Good, thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all you do to keep us on the straight and narrow, Mr. Clerk. You're welcome. Now, before we continue on to public comment, because of the little kerfluffle in the start of our meeting today, I totally forgot to share with everyone that Commissioner Eggers is not here because he's home very sick. So hopefully he'll recover quickly and come back very soon, because we miss him.
Amen.
Okay, so with that said, I would like to ask Jack Cater,
Let me get my,
Commissioner Peters, I know they need longer cords on that thing.
bless you.
Jack Cater, are you here? He left? Okay. Next is Pastor Mack.
Remind him again about 2 minutes.
Come forward, Pastor, and remember, 2 minutes, please. Morning.
Good morning, commissioners. How exciting it is to be in your presence again. Again, the presence of our precious county. And then I was thinking, you know, I had 3 minutes, but with 2 minutes, and what is these with my last 2 minutes? What would I want to say to my friend? What would I want to say to my enemies? And I was thinking about enemies. I don't have any, but I got a lot of friends. I got friends because I make myself friendly. I think if I had 2 minutes to say what I need to say, I would say, listen, there is a beacon of hope. Hope, what is that? You know, when we study that term hope theologically, it's a word that implies that we can continuously have something to look forward to. And you know, as I have learned mankind, often women, mankind, women, same thing, I've learned we can put a little hope in them for a minute because we're all just simply people. And we all humans. And God made us that way. But God is God. And so what I want to leave with my friends and my enemies is that Christ has come and lived and died, and he rose again, and we have the hope that he has promised us that he's going to go away and prepare a place for us. You know, like we work down here to keep Pinellas County boxing. You guys do a great job. Thank you very much for that. But he's going to prepare a place for us and come back for each one of us. That's the hope that we have today.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Pastor.
much. God bless you.
Margaret Keefe. Margaret Keefe.
She's coming.
Morning.
Good morning. My name is Margaret Keefe, and I'd like to allocate my time to Attorney Luke LaRoe.
To who?
Attorney Luke LaRoe.
Luke LaRoe. Luke LaRoe, are you here? Please come.
She's trying to give him.
The house back here, but.
Oh, my. Please come forward, identify yourself, and state your address.
She wants to try to give him 4 minutes.
I assigned myself to item number 42.
Okay. Eddie Maltzby? Morning.
Good morning. Oh, you good. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Everyone. My name is Eddie Maltzby Jr. I'm here to speak up on behalf of Black Power 96.3 FM radio station. I'm the manager. And a few months ago, we were denied a grant for the radio station, and the radio station is in dire need for the grant money of $37,000, which the commission said yes to it, and we ranked 4 out of 55 constituents, but after a couple of months later, they denied the grant. This station is needed for our community, our black community especially, because in the black community, we have no station like Black Power 96.3 FM WBPU in St. Pete. This station is in Irma. You mentioned about the Hurricane Irma. We was there broadcasting for the community because everybody had lost power. In Southside St. Pete, over 50,000 people lost power, but they had radios and batteries to notify everybody where to go and how to get in shelter in place. That's powerful. We also have done so much for the community for as where the building we are. The building is a great standing building that you can come in and live and stay. We also have signed a petition. I took a petition a week ago to say how valuable the people want the station in their community, and got over 600 signatures in 1 week's time. Votes that commission, I'm pretty sure that you're going to need next time you run for office. This is a radio station. I'm the manager. I'm 100% blind. And the grant you took away was to make me a better manager that I could be for the equipment that I need to talk to me, the availability for computers. So it's vital in the community that we keep this station going, and people are behind us. It's the people's station, and you can see that on the petition that will be brought to the Pinellas County Commission. So I want to just say that and thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Next is Jimmy Wenga Waller.
Chimaringa.
What is it?
Mr. Chimaringa Waller.
Mr. Chimawinga Waller.
He did, I saw him step out, so maybe if you can set his card aside and call him later, but I saw him step out of the room.
All right. Johanna Beddenfield.
Johan. Yes, Johan.
Johan Bedingfield, I'm sorry.
My name is Johan Bedingfield. I'm based in Volume 4. I support the Black Power United States. I'm a member of the Humanitarian Movement, and this was both money that was given to Black Power United States. Is the top on the Black community, the right of freedom of speech and self-determination and economic development. And, the Black Power United States has done wonders to the Black community and promote eviction, help the people to get what they need for shelter, for hurricanes. This various is vital for the Black community. And I support 100%, and this is a disgrace that these funds were both to really help the Black community to develop as a community. I just call on all white people to take a stand and defend the freedom of speech of the African community who have been oppressed for hundreds of years. And here and then they have to fight for the rights, the basic democratic rights. And I just want a complete solidarity with the right of African people to have power over their own lives, and their voice must not be silenced. So I just want to say that. But
Thank you. Jamie Simpson.
Good morning. My name is Jamie Simpson, and I am a volunteer host on Black Power 96.3 WBPU LP St. Petersburg. I'm also a member of the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, and I'm a substitute teacher. I'm an instructor, an educator. My wife is a teacher. I've lived in St. Petersburg since 1989, and I want to say that we in the white community are outraged, absolutely outraged, that you would have the audacity to deny funding to one of only 2 Black-owned radio stations in St. Petersburg. That you would conduct this kind of political attack that makes an absolute mockery of this supposed democratic process. Is this an open democratic process for community organizations to have funding or not? Do you take seriously what happened during COVID, the disproportionate number of deaths in the Black community, destruction of Black lives, destruction of Black businesses? How dare you actually claim that this community radio station is not beloved in the Black community by the 100,000 Black residents that it reaches? And I want you to know that we in the white community will not stand for this majority white board denying access to well-deserved funds for this community radio station. You just heard from DJ Eddie Maltzby, who is 100% blind. These funds would allow him to effectively manage this radio station, to increase the kind of programming that includes access to local artists. He hosts a radio show called Local Going Global, a contest that supports local artists in a way that no other radio station in this county does. How dare you? How do you go home at night and tell yourselves that you're living up to your mission statement, that you're living up to your goals of serving this community? This is an anti-democratic attack on the entire Black community, and we in the white community will not stand for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Kay Cossington, and after that is Akil Anai.
Good
morning.
Good morning. This is a rare opportunity to see you all in person. I'm just here to say that mainly because of the Pinellas increases in rates, we know that Duke Energy in Pinellas County utilities have a monopoly. We're part of that system. We can't get out of it. But I would, just like an earlier speaker said, that they found ways to cut back and budget. I would like to see that happen instead of constantly being presented with increases, increases, increases. I watch when crews come into my neighborhood, trucks that stand idle, people that stand idle, inefficiencies of how they conduct one neighbor to another. All I'm saying is when we look at price increases, can we also ask them what they can do to roll back? We have a huge senior community. Not everybody can afford all the increases coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Akil Anai. And next is David Balaguetis Jr.
My name is Akile Anai, and I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Pinellas County Commission once again is preparing to deny funding to the African People's Education and Defense Fund, a nonprofit located and serving the south side of St. Pete's Black community. While their formal explanation says that the nonprofit doesn't show the negative impacts of COVID-19, which is untrue, the real basis for this pending denial of resources is rooted in this commission's abuse of power and their political disagreements with an organization associated with this nonprofit. What needs to be addressed by this commission is the denial of resources based on their personal feelings and disagreements, which was not a requirement for these federal funds. These are not the personal dollars of any commissioners here. Did every single applicant receive the same kind of scrutiny? Do we all know of their associations? Do we know of the commissioners' political associations? What must be understood is that this commission's actions set a precedent, that despite the supposedly democratic process, despite the supposedly constitutionally protected rights of freedom of speech and association, this commission is saying in their actions that they can deny these rights if they don't agree with the organization or individual. No one should receive these funds unless the commission likes what they say or the work that they do. Their hope is that by attacking a nonprofit serving the Black community, the so-called marginalized that they claim to fight for, that this will be supported by the general population of Pinellas County. But when they open the door to denying a constitutional rights and due process for anyone, it is something they can do and will do to everyone. One of the commissioners was recently quoted saying, "I stand by what I said. I don't believe they, APEDF, represent Pinellas County." What does represent Pinellas County then is anti-democracy, anti-Black, community, social, and economic development. And I have in my hand a stack of over 500 signatures acquired in 7 days in preparation for this meeting. People in Pinellas County and neighboring counties who object to the Commission's motion to deny APEDF and Black Power 96 radio funding. These are the voices that the Commission is working overtime to silence. There's overwhelming support and recognition from the impacted community of APEDF service. And so the question here is, do you uphold your own democracy or do you deny it? That's the question you're confronted with today.
Thank you. Greg Pound.
Greg Pound, Largo. I'd like an explanation on why we only get 2 minutes, but I'd like to finish what I got to say here. First of all, this gay pride thing. Now, if we go down there and get beat up again, like they keep going down there for having a sign that says no king but King Jesus, then the county should be sued for what you're doing, and the police won't protect the people down there who stand up there for Christ. This is what it says. It says, for this cause God gave them up unto vile affection, for even the women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. Likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their due heir, which was meat. That's in Romans 1. Just read it. They're turning our country into Sodom and Gomorrah. They want to turn you men into women, the women into men. It's a global, this is happening straight across the planet. And this is reproduction. They want to thin the herd of the planet. They say there's too many people. Next thing is the storm. You've turned this, number one, Pinellas County is becoming the gay capital of the state of Florida. Okay, with your Charlie Crisp and all his other happy people, gay people. And so what happens, you've sown the wind, you're going to reap the whirlwind. You better read your Bible. You better find out what this says. You get ready for your storms because you're going to get flattened out because you've become so evil. When you allow children to be sodomized and to push this gender stuff on the children, there's big trouble. Ken Book, listen, if you believe these politicians are liars, Ken Book here, or whatever his last name is, ask him about what is called cooperative agreement contracts for federal grant money. That's where the corruption is. These cooperative agreement contracts that get money from the federal government, they're selling us out. Brian Pitts says you're running double books. And this one last thing is you guys are just destroying you're destroying us.
Thank you, Mr. Pound. Larry Fasson, please.
Skipped David Geddes. David. You skipped him. He was ready.
I'm sorry. Please come forward.
Good morning. It's pronounced Faison. I'm here on behalf of supporting Black Power 96.3. I'm a volunteer there. I'm one of the DJs. And I like to say that our community is a small community. We're a black community. We're a white community. We're all in it together. And Black Power 96.3 is a non-discriminatory, non-profit radio station. We have been there for everybody. In my radio program, I'm a DJ. I have a gospel radio program. And on our program, we like to encourage people. We're there for their mental health and attitude as they take on to the next day because things have been very, very difficult. So we're there mentally trying to help them socially, encourage people to do the right things. We talk about, we don't want nobody to do like with gun violence. We talk about praying for people after they have lost their loved ones. We have folks calling every day that we're praying for their loved ones that they're lost, people in the hospital. We're trying to do things for our community that means things to people. It helps people. We have thousands and thousands of listeners who are depending on us, who are listening to us for encouragement. On Thursday mornings, I have a pastor come on and just to preach to people. And as I play the gospel music, we are for our community. And it's not just black power, it's white power, it's all the power. We are for our entire community. And it is so very important for our funding because it is the people who keep us going. So if we're losing funding, then therefore are lots of things that we cannot do to support the people. We are at Black Power. Our goal is to make the city better, the county better, and the whole United States better. And that is our goal. And we're just asking for a chance to help the people. And that is all we're asking. And it takes financing, and it takes funds, and the people have been helping us with donations. But
Thank
we-
you. Thank
Thank you
Your
very
time
much.
is up.
Thank you very much.
David Ballard Geddes Jr., please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. David Ballard Geddes Jr. I live at 802 Georgia Avenue in Palm Harbor. The subject matter on my comment card is a 3-minute speech. I'll defer that
Thank you.
till next
Continue.
meeting. Instead, I'd like to make a few comments in regards to the Pride Month. I personally have no opinion or prejudice against gay people, and even more so, I have no business being in their business. But when it comes to a body politic, such as the body of this commission or legislation as a body, the body of the Senate, and how a body politic intercourses its activity, I must object to a body politic as wanting the same rights as the civilian population does. I disagree with how legislation gaily conducts its business. As a body politic, you get paid to be productive. You cannot conduct your behavior in your commission gaily. You do not get paid to be proactive as you intercourse your duty. You get paid to be productive. You do not get paid to gaily do as you please. Attempting to apply the rights of the civilian population and extend those same rights as to how a body politic intercourses its function is unacceptable behavior of government. Legislation has discoursed in its duties. I see all this political pride celebration as a political mockery of the gay civilian population, and such mockery is a travesty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that is the end of our speakers for the moment until.
There's a gentleman back there.
Oh, that's right.
That's Chimaringa Wallow. That's the one I said you may want to
Oh,
put to
I'm
the
so
end.
sorry. You weren't here when I called you. Please come forward. I didn't know you would come back in. Chimawanga Waller, morning.
Morning. Yeah, I just want to say that I want to speak in support of the grant for 96.3, Black Power 96.3. I'm glad that the hurricane preparedness presentation was made, because that's exactly what this grant is about, a backup generator for the radio station. And it seems to me that we would want to continue to support a radio station that was on the air during the hurricane, giving people information, instructing them about what to do. It just seems to me that's something we would want to do, as opposed to denying a grant and then putting people further at risk. If the radio station is serving that purpose to help people understand how they can stay safe, it just makes sense to support that grant and give that $67,000 for that backup generator. The radio station serves a great purpose every day in our community. Thousands of people, like Larry said, thousands of people listen to the radio station. It's one of only 2 black radio stations in the city of St. Pete. Most of the black community is located in the city of St. Pete. So I think we serve a great purpose, and I would call on you to do the right thing and grant that $67,000. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now I believe our public comments section is closed until we get to item number 9. Right now, let's go to item number 6, which is our County Planning Authority. Carolyn?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Agenda item number 6 is case number CW 2304. This is a proposal by Pinellas County to amend a countywide plan map from recreation open space to public semi-public regarding .116 acre, more or less, located on the west side of Ridgemore Drive, approximately 300 feet north of Ridgemore Boulevard. The public hearing was properly advertised, and an affidavit of publication has been received for filing. No correspondence has been received by the clerk, and the matter is properly before the board to be heard.
Thank you. Any,
Would you like a staff report?
I'm sorry?
Would you like a staff presentation, or?
Do we want a staff presentation?
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? I guess we go to our, we have a second. I'm seeing a note here that says the second has been denied.
Oh, no.
Your second has been denied.
There's a request to speak. I don't know. Lou, where is he? I don't know who I'm supposed to pay attention to.
We're not using the motion buttons.
We're not using the motion, but just the vote button.
Okay.
Well, okay.
There you go.
Which machine is the vote button coming up on?
It'll be on this one.
Okay.
The clerk will do it.
Please open the machine and allow us to vote.
Yes, no, maybe so. I got it correctly.
Okay.
The one on your right.
Yeah, I just hit yes.
It'll count.
Everybody good? We good?
Yeah, it was a 5-1, passes 5-1.
All right. And now we are on item 7.
Yep.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Agenda item number 7 is case number FLU 2302. This is a request by Pinellas County and the St. Pete Clearwater International Airport for a land use change from employment to transportation utility on approximately 18.5 acres located at 13690 Stony Brook Drive in unincorporated Largo. This is companion to item number 8 as well. The public hearing was properly advertised and an affidavit of publication has been received for filing. No correspondence has been received by the clerk. The matter is properly before the board to be heard.
Thank you.
Move approval.
Been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded. Please open the machine so that we can vote.
Oh, it's on there too.
Okay, that passes unanimously. Item 8.
Agenda item number 8 is case number ZON 2302. This is the first of 2 public hearings to consider a proposal by Pinellas County and the St. Pete Clearwater International Airport for a zoning change from Employment 1 to Pinellas County Airport on approximately 18.5 acres located at 13690 Stony Brook Drive in unincorporated Largo. Since this is a quasi-judicial hearing, all those individuals who plan to speak on this item must be sworn in. For those wishing to speak, whether you are attending in person or virtually, if able, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Signify by saying, I do. The public hearing was properly advertised and an affidavit of publication has been received for filing. No correspondence has been received by the clerk, and the matter is properly before the board to be heard.
And Madam Chair, this is the first of 2 public hearings, so the board's role today is to simply take public comment. You do not need to take a vote.
All right, do we have any public comment on item number 8? No.
And I understand the second hearing will be at your July meeting.
Oh, okay.
Next item?
Agenda item number 9 is a proposed resolution adopting revised water, retail sewer, wholesale sewer, retail reclaimed water, and wholesale reclaimed water rates for fiscal years 2024 through 2027. The public hearing was properly advertised. An affidavit of publication has been received for filing. 2 emails in opposition have been received by the clerk. The matter is properly before the board to be heard, and there is 1 person on Zoom registered to speak on this item.
All right, well, since we are not taking up item 9 today, do we want to still have our?
You're
do our-
taking up
We're doing number
yeah,
9.
this one.
Yeah,
I'm
and we have
sorry?
to have the public comment.
It was the last one. Item 8, you weren't, just taking public comment.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
You could take public comment.
It's the blue one.
Matthew Faustini.
Matthew Fassini, go ahead. Can you hear us? Can you unmute? Mr. Festini, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Sorry, I tried to speak on item 9. I got bit by a brown raccoon at Largo City Hall, so I'm on antibiotics. So I just wanted to call in and voice my support for this rate increase. I know it's not easy to ask us to pay more, and I know that the city and the county and all of our workers do an amazing job. To those who made comments about not having a choice in our water and sewer systems, I'd urge you to look at England and the issues they're having with their privatized water system. The 13% increase next year that London ratepayers will get under their privatized system is way more than anything that this commission will hear tonight. 2 billion pounds of taxpayer money went to pay dividends to shareholders from Thames Water in the UK. That's what happens when you have a private system. None of that money goes back in to invest in our community. So that's where the money needs to go, and I appreciate the time.
Thank you. And we have David Balaguetis Jr. again.
Thank you again. David Balaguetis Jr. I live on Georgia Avenue in Palm Harbor. The Special Acts of 1953 delegate that water be sold on a supply and rate basis. It does not pridefully compact any third-party, interlocal, ad hoc, private public facility water fees or taxes underpinned on the county utility billing system. The reclaimed water availability fee is a water tax. It is a toll charge that has taken my essential water hostage. The Reclaim Water contrivance has promoted a hostage taking of my essential rights to access my vital water supply. The court case, Supreme Court Case 96332, ratifying the Reclaim Water bonds is defective on every measure. The county attorney that worked on this case is in question of ethics violations. The Reclaim Water variance of such in reality is an eminent domaining of our personal property based on statute 15303, section 5. The Reclaim Water variance application again clearly states that I, the applicant, literally owe my health, my safety, and my religion. That's a large charge in my opinion. When the county had shut off my water supply not once but twice for my refusal to pay for the Reclaim Water contrived charge, you violated my rights to religion and violating my First Amendment rights with that. I'm a Christian. My Savior stood on water, and he still stands there today. I suggest this government take note of that. Thank you. In relation to the 14th Amendment.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. So this has been thoroughly discussed at our both work session. We do have Jeremy Wall, our Director of Utilities here. We also have Stantec that did rate analysis. We're open to any questions that you have. We can do a formal presentation if you'd like. But I think, in commenting on this, and I heard that, members of the public, remember, this is investing in infrastructure. This is not people. This is keeping our system in a good state of repair. We've seen sewer breaks where we had pipes collapse on concrete pipes, millions upon millions of dollars to try to repair those and get ahead of and keep our sewer and water systems in a state of good repair. So this is not trying to expand what we're doing, it's trying to maintain a strong system that is contained within our system and not have sanitary sewer overflows and things that should not occur. Unfortunately, it's expensive to do that, and we've seen the price of construction skyrocket over the past several years. This is some of this is mandated on improvements we have to make. A lot of it is to maintain our infrastructure, but we'd be happy to go through in a presentation or just hold this for your consideration.
What is your pleasure?
I don't know that we need the presentation, but it could be beneficial to people watching from home. So I think we should have the presentation so people from home will understand what we're
What we're talking about.
We're talking more.
All right, Jeremy, I tried. You're on.
You can abbreviate it, hit the highlights like the summary of customer impacts.
He stayed up all night practicing for this. I guess we should let him go.
Yeah. Good morning, Jeremy Waugh, Interim Director of Utilities. I brought with me Andy Burnham, who's a consultant from Stantec to help prepare some of the backup data. So I'll be brief and let you go.
Okay. Very good. We do have a brief presentation to highlight the conduct of the comprehensive study for you. It's about 10 slides, so it'll go pretty quickly, but should provide that foundation of the background of why we're doing this today. So the county, like many municipalities and public agencies in Florida, have separate enterprise funds for their water and sewer systems. They're not supported by taxes, they're supported by rates, fees, and charges to cover the cost of operations and capital for providing those services. And an important part of providing those services is ongoing financial management, and making sure that the level of your rates, fees, and charges is sufficient to meet your upcoming operating cost, as well as your planned capital improvement requirements, and to make sure that you have adequate reserves for emergencies, as has been talked about this morning, as well as you meet some of the financial covenants or requirements of bondholders that you have on the sewer side, which has also been talked about today. And as you look ahead and continue to assess the condition of your infrastructure and do those proactive asset management plans and infrastructure plans to try to identify how you need to improve your system to avoid breaks, to operate it more efficiently, and to maintain it, that infrastructure need becomes front and center as part of evaluating your rates. You have over 2,800 miles of infrastructure underground for your utility system. It's hard to envision, but that goes from here to San Francisco. And if you include reclaimed water, that pipe, it goes from here to Seattle, Washington. That's the amount of infrastructure that you have responsibility for, that the rates have to support on an ongoing basis. In the midst of that, we also have operational costs, some of those coming from Tampa Bay Water that will change over time, but importantly, some of the electrical cost increases that we've seen gone up. From the last study to 2019 to today, it's been about a 67% increase in electric expenses. From 2019 to 2023, we've seen a similar increase, about 75% in chemicals that are a big function of our cost. So we have a lot of cost pressures to maintain these critical quality of life services for the community that's behind these rate studies that you conduct every 4 years to make sure you can stay on track with providing that high level of service to the communities. So as was talked about in the March workshop, we looked at several different options on rates, and they all revolve around how do we pay for that infrastructure that's been identified through those planning processes for our system. Looking at options that included paying with it all with debt, or, quote, maxing out the credit card, you will, and using debt capacity to the greatest extent we could. But the commission provided direction to look at a more balanced approach that had some level of additional borrowing for the infrastructure that may occur over time based upon the projections, that had more moderate rate adjustments associated with satisfying those capital needs as well as the ongoing operating cost of the system. 5% a year for 24, but then also 4% a year for the sewer system for 24 and through 27. But more importantly, part of the conversation about rates isn't just the level of increases, but how do we structure our rates and charges to our customers? And as part of that, we've looked at updating the water rate structure this year to include modest adjustments to our base charge to capture more of our readiness to serve cost for maintaining the infrastructure in a constant state of availability for our citizens, but also looking at starting to enter into a tiered rate structure for water use, which means for that more steady, lower volume of use for residential customers, single family and multifamily, that's steady throughout the year, it's a lower rate. And for use above that, that causes us to oversize our systems to have additional capacity to meet those seasonal demands. There's a higher rate for those costs that also promotes conservation, again, for those higher levels of usage. And that's part of the recommendations as well. And so what that means for various residential users are for those low volume users, say a 1 or 2 person household, that represents about 27% of your residential bills issued, they'll actually see a reduction on their water bill next year because of this change in the tiered structure. Even a typical user at, say, 5,000 gallons, that might be a 3 or 4 person household, they will also see a small reduction on their water bill, their water portion of their bill next year. And those that may be larger volume users at, say, 10,000 gallons of water use, they may see an increase if they don't conserve, but even just a modest amount of conservation will allow them to avoid that increase that's shown on this chart here for that first year. Subsequent years, those increases would be applied across the board to that new rate structure, but there is an opportunity here in this current fiscal year to start entering into that tiered rate structure that enhances affordability and also promotes conservation at the same time. And so for that typical customer, we've identified here for water and sewer added together what the last increase last year was for that bill, $4.80 or 5.8%. And then with the rate increase, but the structure changes as well for water, it's actually a more modest increase for 24, about $1.85 or 2%. Again, for those very low volume users, 1,000 or 2,000 gallons, they may not even see a change in their bill because of the change from the water rate structure. And then going forward, the increase would be about $4 on that typical bill, or about 4.7%, less than last year's rate plan, and certainly less than the current rate of inflation that we've seen the last 2 years and even in this current fiscal year. Our current service is a very high level for a very comparable price when we look locally. Compare that typical bill for other communities in the area, and if you look at those other communities, they're seeing similar infrastructure pressures in terms of funding those regulatory requirements, keeping their infrastructure in a state of good repair, and keeping up with inflation. So many of these agencies will have increases that are already approved for the next couple of years, say Gulfport with 2 8% increases, ongoing adjustments such as Hillsborough County at 4% a year and Newport Richey at 4% a year, or others that are looking at doing increases now as part of current rate study evaluations, or considering those, such as Port Richey, that hasn't done rate adjustments in a number of years. So all of these communities are facing similar pressures and seeing similar degree of increases needed on their rates. And the last piece of the rate adjustments that are before you is about reclaimed water system. As part of the utility initiative to install metering infrastructure, this will now give customers, for the first time ever, an understanding of how much water they're using on the reclaimed water system. And so as part of that process, we're looking at a change to the rate structure where we'll have a base fee that includes a certain amount of usage that's reasonable for a typical residential property. And then for anything above that usage, they would pay a rate per 1,000 gallons to provide an acknowledgement of the costs associated with that additional use, and again, an incentive for conservation to hopefully allow us to better manage the resource to provide it to our current customer base. And so what this means over time is for customers that are presently unmetered today, which is about 95% of the customers on your system, we're also looking to increase the level of that base charge. So it'd be $1 increase on that fee over the next few years. But for those that use more than that typical amount, they may see a higher increase in their bill unless they conserve down to the amount that's included in the base charge. And so again, there's a conservation opportunity associated with this rate structure change for better management of the resource that allows customers to control how much of an increase they may or may not see in their bill as a result. I went through that rather quickly, but I'd be happy to answer any questions or go into more of the details behind it. There's a 140-page report behind all of this that you can refer back to as needed.
We were really hoping you were going to go through that 140.
Yeah, I was reading the room a little bit earlier, and I think the presentation might have been the right call.
Commissioner Allo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Going back to the local residential water and sewer bill comparison chart, during the work session, I believe you mentioned that there were some municipalities that were under us that were currently going through this process that would make them be above us. Can you talk about that real quick?
Sure. There's some agencies on this list that have increases already approved for future years. So if you look at their ordinances, they may have changes coming this fall, but Dunedin has a 6% increase approved in their ordinance, and they're below you on the chart. Right now, Tarpon Springs is looking at updating and considering potential adjustments to its rates. That'll be forthcoming and part of their budget decision-making process for them. Hillsborough County is going at 4% a year. Port Richey, we're conducting a rate study for Port Richey right now. They haven't adjusted rates in a number of years, and they're going to be considering on the 27th some potential adjustments for 24 and 25. So I don't want to presuppose that they would approve them, but part of that conversation will be around some pretty large adjustments for the next couple of years to catch up to some of these recent events. And then Tampa at the bottom is a good example. They previously had approved a 20-year rate ordinance, which is a rather long rate ordinance, but it was attached to discussion about their master plans and selecting different level of service options. And so they're more towards the beginning than they are the end of that 20-year rate ordinance. And so they have approved increases that will be kicking in next year and in subsequent years that are around that 6 to 7% a year level. So we'll continue to see those levels of increases, I would anticipate, for many agencies that haven't updated their rates recently or trying to catch up on their infrastructure. Whereas, again, our overall increase for next year, you can see with the rate structure change, we only move about $1.85. Right. We don't even move a place in the survey. And this is against everyone else's current rates. Right. So a lot of these other bars will shift to the right next year.
Right, and this time next year, we will, regardless of what we do, we will be further down on this list.
We'll stay in that relative comparative spot, and it's very likely that other agencies will have some significant adjustments when we update this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Scott?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks again for going through that presentation. I like the way we've structured this because with the tiered rate system, there is a real incentive for conservation. Where if people focus on that a bit, that they may not see any increases at all, and perhaps even a decrease. But also would like to just remind everybody that is watching out there that Tampa Bay Water has incentives to replace toilets with low-flow toilets as well to help on the conservation side. So I would move approval, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been moved and approved. Would the clerk please unlock the voting machine? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
He wanted more.
Jeremy's first act
He
as the
wanted
interim
more.
director.
And that passes unanimously. Okay, now we are on to item 10.
10 through
Consent agenda.
34.
There's item 10 through 34 is the consent agenda.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Would you please open the voting card?
She wants a voice
Madam
vote
Chair,
on
can
it.
we do a voice vote
Ayes.
for the
You
want a
consent
voice
agenda?
vote?
Yes, please.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 35.
This is the second amendment to an agreement with Schneidler Electric. This is for all of our elevator maintenance, and this is to carry out through the end of the contract term in April of '24.
Move approval.
Second.
The voting card? Now you've got me confused. Okay. We'll use the voting card. Please open the card.
Here we go.
Okay, and that passes unanimously. Item number 36.
This is a grant application and grant agreement with Federal Aviation Administration for the construction of airco taxiways at the airport.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, please open the voting card.
Madam Chair, for the record, who was the first and second? Commissioner Peters and Flowers?
Yes.
Commissioner Flowers? Okay, thank you.
You good?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, that passes unanimously. Item 37.
It's a memorandum of understanding and cost sign-off documents to reimburse the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol or U.S. Customs Border Protection for cost of technology and equipment at the airport.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please open the voting card. All right, that passes unanimously. Item 38.
This is the Regional Opioid Abatement Funding Advisory Board's priority list. So you'll see two. You'll see this one for the regional opioid fundings, and 39 is for the city and county. And so they've prepared, and Commissioner Peters can certainly speak to it, or
approval.
Karen, but this is the preparing the list we submit up to the state.
Commissioner Peters.
Made a
moved.
motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Flowers. Please open the voting card. Hasn't voted.
You.
Thank you, Charlie. And that passes unanimously.
And same thing
Item-
for 39, except this is the city and county funding.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please open the voting card.
Excuse me, sorry.
Thank you. And that passes unanimously. All right, on number 40.
Item 40 is amendment to agreements with Florida Department of Children and Family and the Public Defender for the Criminal Justice Mental Health and Substance Use Reinvestment Grant. And this is a reduction to actually reflect what can be accomplished within the grant time period.
Move approval.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please open the voting card. And that passes unanimously. 41.
This is a letter to rescind funds for an acceptance and for Directions Telehealth Remote Access to Crisis Intervention. This is at the request of Directions that they've decided not to proceed with signing their agreement for this service.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
If you all recall, remember when we didn't have their letter yet, when we had the presentation to us in the workshop? And I asked about this because I was concerned that I kept hearing that they weren't ready to move forward. And of course, we had them on. So I am just concerned that we had moved forward. They had not, they had indicated that they were ready to move forward, but had not provided us with the documentation that they needed. And so now they're pulling back. So my question to staff would be, are we looking at someone else to reallocate these funds to? This doesn't, significantly hinder the program or anything, but I'm just concerned that we went so far not having their information. And I did ask the question because we didn't have it, and so now they're pulling out altogether.
Hi, good morning. Karen
Good morning.
Yatchum, Human Services Director. And so, no, we are not able to reallocate those funds. So part of the FDLE's agreement is that we have a committed plan. And at the time, we did have the allocation made to directions, but the CEO and the organization did not want to sign the agreement moving forward. So we are not able to reallocate that funding to the community.
Do we know why they don't? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that's,
Do
So
we know?
there are various reasons that she had indicated. It's mostly related to the standard agreement with the county. There were items in the standard agreement that she and her attorney did not want to agree to.
Okay, well, I guess that's on them.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been
Thank
moved-
you.
It's been moved and seconded. Can you please open the voting card? And that motion passes unanimously. And now we are on item number 42.
Item 42 are recommendations to award grant funds to applicants for the first round of large projects from the American Rescue Plan Nonprofit Capital Fund. And Kevin, you want to kick this off?
Morning.
Morning.
Apologize for my voice. I'm Kevin Knutson, Assistant County Administrator. And I want to say two things before we get started, but I think there might be some public comment as well
There
that people
are.
are signed up for. So let me just handle these two things real quick. The first one is I sent you last Thursday a memo from April 28th from the Pinellas Community Foundation that included their final rankings on the large capital projects. We have copies with the clerk today if you didn't get it, and I want to make sure that you have that because as part of my comments, I think it will inform the decision making. The other two comments I wanted to make is, as I shared on Tuesday, we wanted to recall two of our recommendations, one about Avera Health and one about the YMCA. After further discussions with you all and staff, I determined that it was best to recall those. So that still stands since Thursday. And lastly, I'd like to call your attention to an item on the PCF memo. It's on 2 of 5, and it's a footnote about the one remaining recommendation for the the African People's Education and Defense Fund. They pointed out, just like us, that they had some concerns about whether this grant was for the sole benefit of that organization or not. And that's part of what really calls into question whether or not we're going to meet the federal guidelines on this. So I wanted to show that to you. I wanted to bring it to your attention and give you that information. Any questions I can answer?
Question.
Question by Commissioner Justice.
So thank you, Madam Chair. The 10.5 with the 4 columns, with the last column being June 8 staff recommendation.
Yes.
That's the final.
Yes, it is.
What the staff recommendation is
Yes,
today.
that's the email I sent you on Friday.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Actually, she is.
Oh, Commissioner
You
Flowers?
can go.
All right, go ahead.
I'm going to be a little lengthy.
Go ahead.
She's
You
gonna
got
be
all
like-
day.
Oh, plus lunch, minus lunch. Are you finished with your presentation?
Yes.
Well, let's go ahead and go to, I guess there are comments from, because I have some questions and concerns regarding the YMCA of Greater St. Petersburg. So how,
Take your public comments. and then-
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll take public comments. I'll wait.
Okay, I have a question for Kevin.
Okay.
I know at one point y'all took into account the financial stability for some of these groups when they were initially knocked off the list. I believe the St. Petersburg YMCA was one, and that was before they got added back on. The St. Petersburg Free Clinic has a pretty substantial recommendation, and they are certainly worthy of that because they do great work. But was the $9 million that they received from an outside source through philanthropy, was that considered in their recommendation?
We did go back and look at that, and according to the organization, that $9 million is reserved for operating expenses. And so they're seeking capital funds for these changes.
Okay.
You all right?
I'll wait until after public comment for my questions and concerns.
All right, we'll take the public comment and then come back. Steve Cleveland?
I'm just here in case I get asked to come up and speak.
Okay. Thank you. Janice Cant. And you'll have 2 minutes.
My name is Janice Cant. I've been honored to provide administrative support for the African People's Education Defense Fund for the last 25 years. And we call on this commission to follow the recommendations of the convention of the Pinellas County Foundation, Community Foundation, which is a long-standing respected nonprofit contracted by the county and using independent and expert review panel, which scored APDF 4th best out of 79 applications, with rubric that included the COVID requirements. So how could the foundation make a mistake on their scoring with just APDF? It didn't. We meet those requirements. Now I just hear that you are attempting to make your discrimination look legitimate in yet another way. First, you voted falsely accused APDF of criminal acts, made slanderous and defamatory accusations. You tried to change the grant purpose, which is against federal rules. You mentioned other organizations that you would prefer to fund, even though their applications didn't rank high enough for recommendation. You said outright, we don't want to fund APDF. So it's clear to your constituents that this excuse is flimsy. Now I hear that you're questioning whether the generator is just for the organization, and you've heard what it would benefit and how it would benefit the Black residents of South St. Petersburg. So it's really trying to cover up your your intention to deny the constitutional rights, free speech, and due process of APDF. You are supposedly a fair and equitable government entity that should be immune from discriminatory conduct or embracing any innuendo to act in ways that are blatantly unconstitutional. Our county government is failing the Black community and failing all of us. The people are outraged, and you're making the county liable for your discrimination. This is even bigger than APDF. It's a fight for Black organizations, businesses, and the entire Black community. You need to fund this and approve the recommendations and fund this and stop and reverse the decision to rescind the grant.
Thank you. Kanji Mwengo. Probably slaughtered your last name, right?
Kanji Mwengo.
Oh, no, okay, thank
Yes,
you.
my name is Kanji Mwengo. I'm a resident of St. Petersburg, Florida, and I'm a volunteer of Black Power 96. I'll be speaking briefly on just the need for this backup generator for Black Power 96 radio station. St. Pete's Black community is faced with food insecurity, inadequate economic development opportunities, and poor access to local news and information. APDF provides vital programming at its headquarters to meet these needs. According to Feeding Pinellas, over 190,000 people in Pinellas County are food insecure. 36,000 of these are children. Census data shows that Black households in 2020 experienced food insecurity at 3 times the rate of white households. In Pinellas County, according to Feeding America, the overall food insecurity rate is 12%, but for Black families, it's 21%. Local production and distribution of food is key to overcoming food insecurity. APDF's Community Commercial Kitchen provides a facility to meet this need. As the pandemic took hold, 95% of businesses in the majority of Black neighborhoods had a cash buffer of 14 days or less, according to the Tampa Bay Partnership. In majority white areas, fewer than 1 in 3 businesses were so cash-strapped. APDF's Community Kitchen and Events Hall are important community resources that counter the effects of that instability. The median household income for black residents living on the south side of St. Pete is $36,630. According to a 2021 Pew Research Center study, roughly a quarter of adults with household incomes below $30,000 a year don't own a smartphone. 43% don't have internet in the home, and 41% don't even own a computer. This means that residents of our community are heavily relying on radio as a primary source of news, information, and culture. At South St. Pete's local community FM radio station, WBPU provides much-needed information over the airwaves about local services, weather emergencies, COVID and health-related resources, as well as professional career training. Approve this funding and show that you support the black community of Pinellas County. Thank you.
Thank you. Sandra Forrest? Sandra Forrest?
Madam Chair, Sandra Forrest is appearing via Zoom. Ms. Forrest, if you can hear us, can you please unmute yourself?
Where's she from?
Yes, I have unmuted.
Thank you.
Yes, my name is Sandra Forrest. I'm in St. Pete. And in last Thursday, I don't know what was just introduced about sole purpose of the generator. And I don't know why APDF would not have been informed, or that would not have been public information, because it is, the building is owned by APDF. It is an APDF project. So in last Thursday's workshop, and like Janice said, you're jumping all over the place trying to find a reason not to fund, to single out this one black organization. In last Thursday's workshop, it was said that you plan to single out APEDF for denial because it does not directly counteract the effect of COVID. We know the real reason is what you said on February 9th, that you don't ever want to fund this black community nonprofit organization because you don't agree with the political associations of some of its members. But I will address the COVID reason. All the applicants in this federal COVID relief fund were required to demonstrate the negative economic impact that they suffered. The Pinellas Community Foundation, who you entrusted with vetting applicants because of their expertise in this, said that our application provided stellar documentation of that impact. The APDF's community radio station relies on donation of listeners throughout the community, from benefit concerts like the gospel concert we have coming up next month, and from local businesses who underwrite the station. So when the local businesses and concert venues had to shut down, we lost revenue. We had to close our kitchens and events venue, and at the same time, the demand for our services increased because of the pandemic. Our health information broadcast to this community, hardest hit by the pandemic, and the need for food in this community. So we were not able to make the planned purchase of a backup generator that will prevent the loss of thousands of dollars of frozen and refrigerated food. And this is exactly the negative economic impact from COVID that all the applicants had to show, and we did. So other applicants are slated to receive funds for IT systems, HVAC systems, to buy buildings, all of these legitimate and addressing.
Thank you, Madam. Your time is
COVID.
up.
Do the right thing and honor the PCF recommendations and fund this program.
Thank you. Colleagues, all of the rest of our cards are from outside Pinellas County and/or outside the state of Florida, so they will be allotted 1 minute. And first, we will start with Icaris Jaspard. Icaris?
Hello there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hello, my name is Chris Jaspard. I'm a USF student speaking in favor of the African People's Education and Defense Fund, receiving the federal grants listed in Subject 42. The reason being for this, all of the community services that the APDF and the Uhuru House provide to the South St. Petersburg area, including a fitness gym, free HIV testing, an events venue and licensed kitchen, festivals, marketplaces for neighborhood venues, public forums, and the list simply goes on. The APDF not only qualifies for these grants, are in the top of the applicant pool list, but were also accepted to receive these grants originally. The taking of these grants shows a clear case of political influence, which is not what should influence the allocation of these funds. The APEDF and its people deserve these grants, and I hope they will receive them in a time where they help their community more than most. Thank you.
Okay.
Manna Bond?
Madam Chair, I don't, they see that person online.
No?
Okay. I'm sorry, what was the name?
Manna Bond.
Manna Bond?
No.
Dennis Knowles,
No, Madam Chair.
Raya Fogarty,
I see her there. Raya Fogarty, please raise your electronic hand so we can unmute you. Raya, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
You're Mariah, correct?
Yes.
I'm trying to unmute Raya Fogarty. Raya, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Raya Fogarty, Chicago, Illinois. APDF was born in Pinellas County and has grown to serve several cities, including St. Louis, where a government agency was able to reverse course and do the right thing, which I hope you will do today. APDF has purchased and improved several properties from the St. Louis Land Reutilization Authority, LRA, and spent over $1 million building community programs. The LRA board had approved APDF to purchase 2 more vacant buildings, but later said it would reconsider the sales after receiving a complaint that APDF was tied to the African People's Socialist Party. A subsequent staff letter alleged APDF didn't follow the land bank's community outreach guidelines, but APDF made its case, and last Tuesday, Lance Knuckles, Director of Strategic Development and Growth for the St. Louis Development Corporation, said that was in error, and that overall APDF has proven it has the capacity to acquire and maintain LRA properties and has done good work in the neighborhoods where it is active. In St. Louis, officials reconsidered and did the right thing.
your time
Pinellas
is up,
County
ma'am.
Commission, you can too.
Your time is up. All right, is there a Luke LaRoe here? I'm sorry, Mr. LaRoe, your card ended up in a wrong pile. I apologize.
It's not the first time that's
He
happened.
gets extra time too.
So you get 3
2
minutes.
minutes.
2 minutes, yeah.
Yes,
Thank
Luke
you.
LaRoe, 2240 Bella Road, Clearwater, Florida, 33764. And obviously, I represent APEDF. You certainly received some of the letters that I prepared, and I tell you how much fun it is to have a group of such passionate clients as these. But let me tell you a little bit. I thought it was really notable today to start off with Reverend Scott, because when he started to talk about the troubles caused by people that are so deeply divided, I thought, what could be more apt a way to start today's meeting, especially with the issues that I'm trying to talk to this lovely commission about. The issues that we have, I think, are predicated on general ideas of fairness, equity, and what really should be considered when you make your decision as far as this funding. Now, I want to stress this is federal funding. There's over $10 million here. My clients are looking for in the neighborhood of $100,000. I think that's 1/100th of 1%, or some fractional amount that really should not have been the subject of so many political controversies that were brought in beyond what we're talking about here today. The issue that I want to stress, and I thought, how can I do this in the most polite way that I possibly could? And I think my letters have been very polite. I certainly hope you receive them as such. I had the privilege of being an adjunct professor at St. Leo, and I taught Introduction to Law and the Legal System to undergraduates. And it was 3 hours a night, and to try to keep their attention for 3 hours on a weeknight was very difficult. But what I would have taught them in dealing with this issue would have been this. One, when you start to consider this application, this is your record. This is what you look at. I would certainly commit this, and I actually ask that you incorporate these 2 applications into the file on this case if they haven't been done so already. But my clients fulfilled every single criteria. They established their independence. They set forth their mission statement to defend the human and civil rights of the African community, etc. And they established beyond any doubt that as a nonprofit organization, they suffered dramatically from the COVID pandemic. Needless to say, I need to object to being limited to 2 minutes, but let me just summarize it this way. There's some serious issues in the way that all of these ancillary considerations have entered into this. Take the time to review this application with the people that were paid to review it. They found it to be appropriate. I will assure you that everything in it is appropriate, it's accurate. They deserve the funding. And I don't want to have to fight about other things. I can assure you that if we end up in a big fight about this, you're going to spend a lot more than you would give them in the end of the game anyway. So let's just do the right thing. And you've heard everybody. Focus on the application. accept that they've met the criteria, and please give them this money that they so dramatically deserve to do all the good work that they do. And thank you for the privilege.
Thank you very much. And I have been made aware that another gentleman supposedly registered online, Chris Clement.
That's correct, Madam Chair. Yet there's 5 other individuals who registered online, 4 of which I see their names on Zoom.
All right, well, I am so sorry. I don't have cards for them. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
But if you would like to call out their names.
Absolutely.
I have,
You want to start with Chris Clement then? He's in.
let's start with Chris Clement, since the rest of these are out of state.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
One is in state, the other one out of
Yeah,
state, but
Clements
not-
in Palm Harbor.
Yeah.
Chris Clement, can you hear us? Hello? Please, I see his electronic hand. Mr. Clement,
Mr. Clement, are you with us?
please state where you're from. It appears he's having technical difficulties. It looks like he's unmuted on my end.
All right. Well, maybe he can chime in at the end. What is the next one?
The next one is Maureen Wagoner. Maureen Wagoner, please raise your electronic hand so we can unmute you.
She's from California,
That's correct.
so she gets 1 minute.
1 minute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I'm a board member of APDF and I lead the grants team. And you've already heard about some of the programs there, but APDF has a stellar track record in Pinellas County serving the Black community, including the commercial kitchen, the radio station, gym, fitness classes, free HIV testing, marketplaces to increase income in the community, youth tutoring, and more. Corporations Cliff Bar Square and ANI Insurance, foundations Gateway, Brightside, Stopway, JD Chef, and Forward Through Ferguson, city governments, including grants for COVID relief, have funded APDF programs. APDF's farmer market is a success story for the federal USDA who funded it, and your proposal to take back an award that has been vetted by PCF is clearly not about the work of APDF, what it does in Pinellas County and other locations, or the need to mitigate the impact of COVID, or to address hurricane preparedness. Your excuse is bogus, politically motivated, and subverts the spirit and guidelines of the federal ARPA program and
Thank
denies
you.
services to the
Your
Black
time is
community.
up, madam. And I have one more card from Riviera Beach. The only name it says RH.
Madam Chair, I have them listed on my Zoom list as well. RH, are you there? If you are, please raise your electronic hand so we can unmute you.
Let me speak.
Go ahead. RH? Hello?
RH, are you there? It appears the other person who just spoke was Chris Clement. Chris Clement, can you hear us? Just one moment.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mr. Clement?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Good morning. My name is Chris Clement, and I live at 612 Orange Street, Palm Harbor. I have been volunteering at WPPU LP for about 4 hours a week since December 2021 in a technical capacity to help with FCC license requirements and studio equipment maintenance. My qualifications include a degree in computer science and holding a current amateur radio license. I've helped aspiring young people learn to do some things I do on the station's behalf. For example, I have shown youngsters how to inspect the infrared signal from a handheld remote control by observing it with a smartphone camera. These people will share what they learn and inspire others to improve their lives and their community. I strongly believe in their need for a voice and the general benefits of a community radio station. Recently, I attended the National Association of Broadcasters convention at my expense to bring back to the Black community the latest in technology. As a former instructor, I know that hands-on experience in a radio broadcast facility offers numerous benefits for students. Here are some of the key advantages. Practical skill development. Hands-on experience allows students to apply theoretical knowledge. Real-world exposure. Working in a radio broadcast facility provides students with a real-world exposure to the industry, such as emergency alert systems and FCC licensing. Collaboration and teamwork. Radio broadcasting involves working in a team environment. We use Asana software for project management. Networking opportunities. Radio broadcast facilities serve as hubs for industry professionals, including hosts, technicians, engineers like from iHeartRadio. Problem solving and adaptability. Radio broadcasting requires individuals to think on their feet and adapt quickly to unexpected situations, testing batteries, cables, and so forth. Confidence building. Engaging and hands-on
Thank you.
experience
Your
allows
time
students.
is up.
Okay, I hope you will honor the recommendations made by the Pinellas County Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you. And that is the end of our public.
Madam Chair, there's two more, Madam
Oh,
Chair.
you have two more. I'm
More,
so
one's from
sorry.
Michigan
I
and
don't have
one's-
your list, so I have nothing to go by. I'm
I'll have
sorry.
to share it with you. One's from Michigan and one is from Mississippi. Mr. Dennis Knowles, are you there? Please raise your electronic hand so we can unmute you. Mr. Knowles, can you hear us? Mr. Knowles, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes, I thought I'd been locked out there for a while. Anyway, in my short 1 minute, I'm here to say to you today that just as you mentioned in item 2, the safety of community during a hurricane, this is what APDEP offers as well with regards to saving ones in the community during a hurricane. It would be an obfuscation to deny these grants for the safety of a community, an African community, which is being really chided by your commission, by the federal government and others. If you say that this is an equal situation where human beings really matter, I believe that the people in Pinellas County and the St. Petersburg area do matter. And if you say you want ones to build up self-determination and become economically independent, you should allow for that grant to be allotted of $67,000, as well as the rescinded grant of $36,800 for the radio station. You should cheer that on and not be the colonial dominant
Time
as
is up,
you are
sir. Your time
being
is up.
at this moment. Uhuru. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Mariah Bond, are you there? Please raise your electronic hand so we can unmute you. Mariah, Ms. Bond, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Go ahead, please say where you're from and get 2 minutes, or 1 minute,
Okay.
sorry.
Gulfport, Mississippi. I stand before you today to advocate for the grant funding of Black Power 96 Radio. This remarkable community radio station has been a powerful voice for our Black community, promoting empowerment, unity, and social justice. Black Power 96 Radio serves as a platform for marginalized voices to be heard, providing a safe space for open dialogue, educational programming, and cultural enrichment. The station has become a beacon of hope, inspiring and uplifting our community with a diverse range of music, news, and thought-provoking discussions. Granting funding to Black Power 96 Radio will enable us to expand our reach, engage more listeners, and continue our crucial work in promoting social change. By supporting this station, we are investing in the future of our community, fostering a sense of pride, empowerment, and unity among our fellow citizens. I urge each member of this esteemed board to recognize the immense value that Black Power 96 Radio brings to our community. Granting the requested funding will not only contribute to the sustainability and growth of this invaluable institution, but also symbolize our dedication to supporting initiatives that uplift and empower underrepresented communities. Together, let us take this opportunity
you.
to
Your
invest
time
in the
is
power
up.
of community radio and make a difference. Thank
Is that it?
Yes, Madam Chair.
All right, now we are finished with our public.
Renee has questions.
Oh, I haven't got there yet.
Okay.
We're finished with our public comment. Is there further discussion from the members? Commissioner Flowers.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My discussion and comments are as it relates to the funding that was removed from consideration and then put back on for consideration last Thursday at our workshop, and that is for the YMCA of Greater St. Petersburg. initially, when this funding opportunity came about as a request to the Pinellas County School Board, I served on the school board and was privy to the presentations and all of the information that was made at that time, and was assured at that time that all of the funding that was needed for the construction of this new facility in the northeast portion of St. Petersburg was going to be provided for from a individual donor that had left a significant amount of money for the organization, and they were utilizing it specifically for this project. Since that time, there have been other conversations that I haven't necessarily been privy to. However, I have been privy to knowing that the Y has also been in conversations with the city of St. Pete and asking them for $1 million or so for this. After I looked through the contract that they presented, I grew further alarmed because I believe they've taken out a loan of about $12 million. They in their write-up stated that they had about 14 potential partners that they may or may not be able to retrieve additional funding for, because they have asked for a total of $5 million. Their request to us was $5 million, and the initial recommendation, again, that was rescinded and then placed back on our docket, is for about $1.34 million. Within their application, there are a number of comments about the inability to adequately staff their current facilities. They talk about how COVID impacted them, and a number of other things. But my concern is, and I can't, and I will not support this, the Harbordale Y in St. Petersburg has completely closed. And it is a facility that provided services to children on that side of town and was very active and very engaging. In addition, the facility, which is the Childs Park Y, where the city of St. Pete put in $2 million at the very end because they were not able to come up with the dollars that they had promised they'd be able to come up with, and the project had already started construction. That facility is nowhere near in operation the way that it has been. Now, while I understand that COVID played a lot when it comes to participation and being open in 2020 and 2021, as they indicated on their initial application, I also know that these facilities were providing services at the schools, which were open during COVID. And masks were optional for children as well as staff. So I don't completely agree with their analogy that because of COVID, the facilities were closed and or not operational at that time. I also received information, I believe it's on the last page of the application, where it talks about, have you ever had funding rescinded from you or taken from you? They did state that they had a cap as a result of some licensing issues and things of that nature with Spears, and that they were going to be released from that cap February 28th of this year. But there, I also received information that there was a concern with United Way, that there had been funds acquired by the Y that were to offset some of the families who had need of assistance and or support, and that in fact those families had been paying, and that those dollars had to be returned to United Way. So I can't support giving this organization $1.3 million when in fact they have essentially closed and pulled services for youth out of South St. Petersburg. And a lot of the numbers that they utilize in order to be able to garner contracts or grants from organizations is because they're using the numbers that they've been able to acquire from the students and the families that they serve in South St. Petersburg. So for that reason, and for the reasons that were provided earlier, where we had taken them off the list for consideration because they weren't necessarily meeting the objectives and goals of what was anticipated or what was requested. I'm going to request that they be pulled from consideration. And if persons want to chime in or what have you at this point in time, they certainly can, but I can't support the funding for the YMCA of Greater St. Petersburg. There's no way that African-American families from South St. Petersburg are going to go to Spears over in the Riviera area. So I can't support taking services out of my community to provide funding and services in another.
Okay, Commissioner Latvala.
I wanted to talk about some other projects on here, but before that, is there somebody from the YMCA that's here that can
Miss
speak
CEO is
to that, and can we call them up to
Yes, of
speak to
course.
that?
Please
David
come
Jesup.
forward. Please come forward, David. State your name and address, and you'll have.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It is afternoon, right? Madam Chair, Commissioners, I'm David Jesup, President and CEO for the YMCA of Greater St. Petersburg. So I don't know where to start. There's a lot that's been unloaded here, and a little bit surprised, Renee, at some of the comments that you
It's
made.
Commissioner Flowers.
Commissioner Flowers. So yeah, I mean, the project is underway. We do have a $12 million bridge loan to bridge the gap for pledges that are paid. So we did receive a significant gift, but nowhere near the cost of the project. So part of that is that some of the gifts are going to be paid out over a five-year period. So, you have to make sure that you have the cash before you get the pledges paid. So there's that aspect. We're still $9 million short of our target for this project. We're hopeful that the commission will support our request. We have, Chiles Park Y. It's healthy, active. Certainly, Renee, just to correct something that you said, it was not $2 million. It was $1 million that the city gave. The Y actually put $2 million into that project. So it's something that was a significant part of our history, and certainly the activity we have there is, it's the only YMCA that has a branch of the public library inside, which is kind of cool. We have our Prodigy Culture Arts program there. We have summer camp activities there now. We have the VITA program, Volunteer Income Tax Program. It's one of the highest volumed places in the county for that service. I apologize, I'm a little nervous because I'm a little caught off guard and disappointed because I know you've been, Commissioner, you've been actively involved in that program.
From the beginning, which is why I'm disappointed.
And I will tell you, we were suffered a little bit because of COVID. Certainly, Harbordale was shut down because of COVID. Also because the United Way did not fund us for that program. We repurposed, or we sent kids from that site to our school sites so they continue to get service, particularly in academic assistance. JWB supported our literacy program, which was the Y Reads program, which is very successful. And so that actually helped us take the children that we were serving at Harbordale for that purpose. I guess I'm trying to go through my head all the different things that you mentioned. When we met with the school district, and you were on the board, school board at the time, we talked about the project 7.5 years ago, and we certainly, you approved a joint development agreement.
No, I did not. I didn't support it. And
No,
I said that, and you were
voted,
there.
You voted twice for the joint development and the land lease and the shared use agreement. It's on record.
I stood there that day and said to you, I didn't support Pinellas County Schools funding the project, but I'm sorry.
Did you
Let me
vote?
apologize to you because I should not interrupt you when you're talking.
No,
because
I
you
just
didn't interrupt
want to
me,
know,
So I apologize.
I would just ask the question, we've looked through the records, you did approve the joint development agreement, the land lease, and the shared use agreement. And I was at the workshops, and the only thing you opposed was traffic.
Well, I'm sorry. I was also there in person, and I was very adamant as it relates to the funding because I said I do not support us funding. But that's not what my issue is here today. I did say that I was present during the conversations with the school board, but that is not the reasons why I'm not supporting this today. And Mr. Jezik, I will say, and you probably saw it, but I take my grandson to football practice 3 days a week, so I have to go through the parking lot to get to the Rattler Field. One day there was one car. Last week there were 4 cars. One was Frontier Cable. Other than that, no activity. One day, and I did all of these Facebook Lives, so I can't be telling the story. You can go back and look at my Facebook page. And one day there were 2 kids sitting outside, and I purposefully stopped to ask them, what are you doing outside? Do you need a ride, etc.? They said no, a ride was coming. And I sat in my car, and I continued to do a Facebook Live until someone came and picked them up. So I'm not the only one that has seen that services have been significantly reduced. Yes, the library for the city of St. Pete is still there. I know that there have been conversations with your request to ask for money from the city of St. Pete for your project for the Spears.
Yes.
And I also know that there may be a desire to see what other services can go into that particular facility in order to help enhance. But again, I cannot support, and it's just me, I'm not the rest of the people up here.
Yeah,
I
Commissioner.
cannot support having a significant decrease in services in those communities, knowing how much support went into those facilities coming to fruition in those communities. And knowing, yes, I was there from the day that dirt was dug. I was there volunteering, supporting, and giving funding. So I know how much activity was going on there versus how much activity is going on now. And even during COVID, there were people looking for their children for places to go because there were things put in place as it relates to masking, if you wanted to, and clean surfaces and areas and all of that. And I did read in your very thorough application your concerns with COVID, the limited number of services. I saw your numbers of depletion of service activity, which has nothing to do with where we are now because we're out of COVID and things have opened back up. But my concern is, and my stand is, I'm not gonna vote for funding a project that's in another community that's gonna be beautiful. I saw the pictures. It's gonna be absolutely beautiful. But we don't have that intentional service provision at those 2 facilities in South St. Petersburg that are the WISE facilities. And I think if David Welch and Mr. Cherry were here, they'd probably be saying the same thing, that they support not providing additional services to something when we have services right here that aren't at the levels where they were or should be.
Just a couple things, Commissioner Flowers. When you did the video, it was 45 minutes after we closed, so that's why there were no cars. We have operating hours. Certainly, there's some evenings where they're later, but I would invite you to come back during the day hours where we have activities. Certainly,
I will do that.
Happy to show you all the programs that we have there.
I will do that. And I was there during the tax season too, and it was, and again, David, Mr. Jezik, I'm not the only person because other people have concerns about the lack of activity. I'm not voting for the additional dollars. And like I said, I need to apologize because you did not cut me off and I did that to you. And so I do apologize for that because that was very unprofessional of me and not courteous.
Okay, let us.
One last comment. Commissioner Flowers.
One last comment.
Yeah, Commissioner Flowers, I would invite you, for you and I to sit down and have a conversation.
Thank you.
Feel free to call Darlena and she will
We'll
set
set
it
up a time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other discussion, colleagues?
Yeah.
Commissioner Justice?
Commissioner Latvala was
There's a couple projects on here that were added, partially funded. Gulf Coast Jewish Family and Community Services, Community Health Centers of Pinellas, also Everett Health, that I would support giving a little bit more money to. That would mean that we would have to take a little bit of money from somewhere else. I just wanted to put that on the record if that was the commission's how y'all wanted to go. But I think that both of those nonprofits certainly deserve a little bit more if we can give it to them.
Commissioner Peters?
Oh,
Did you?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, she's.
well, I mean, so we're going in a lot of directions, and so where are you recommending?
Well, the the biggest piece of the pie is St. Petersburg Free Clinic. So if we took a couple $100,000 from them and divvied it up to those two to lift them up a little bit. But again, if that's not y'all's desire, then that's not y'all's desire.
Okay, and I have another question. I know on Thursday in the workshop, we discussed about the, item that was ranked number 4, and utilizing that money to try and make the other 3 fully funded. I think there's value in the fully funding. I would make comments on the YMCA. I think that is an outstanding public-private partnership. I worked for the YMCA for many years. I found it to be a great nonprofit organization to work for. I was there when we opened up the Child's Park YMCA. I was there when we opened up the Harbordale YMCA.
And the Belt Lansing, and the...
the YMCA has partnered, I know it's a different YMCA organization, but has partnered with the school boards before. And I think when you get those kind of public-private partnerships, those are things that we desire, to do those kind of partnerships. And so I'm very pleased with the YMCA, and I'm pleased with their application. I would like to see us fund them at the rate that they are at. I sat through board meetings. I know that they're financially sound. They always had clean audits. I haven't sat in a board meeting with them in a long time, but their history has always been good with my experience. So I definitely am going to support the YMCA and the recommended funding. I have concerns about partially funding, and I know the YMCA and Gulf Coast and Avera said that the partially funding, they could still work on doing their projects. But sometimes when you take away some of the money, then they have a difficult time completing the project if they aren't fully funded. I understand that they got a good donation, and that's wonderful and a great blessing for them. But I just feel that, I don't know that I feel that I would support taking money away from somebody that we were funding whole on that one. I get Gulf Coast is a great organization. Avera Health, great organization. I supported taking item number 4 that ranked 4th and splitting that 3 ways across the board, so it helped them some more. And I still support what we discussed on Thursday. I kind of felt like we were in consensus on Thursday on that. And that's what I would like to see go through is that. But I do have concerns about arbitrarily deciding who we're going to take money from otherwise. I get where you're coming from, but I don't know that I would support that.
Anyone else?
Commissioner Scott.
Commissioner Justice and then Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just, I know that there's a lot of frustration today with some of the process and the indecision, but I do want to take a moment just to celebrate the organizations that are on this recommended list: the Free Clinic, the Pinellas Ex-Offender Reentry Coalition, which from their proposal is incredible job training, housing, food, the Shirley Proctor Polar Foundation, Brookwood, Daystar, the Y, Hope Villages, Homeless Empowerment Program in Clearwater, the Gulf Coast Jewish Family and Community Services, Community Health Centers, and of course the Florida Dream Center, which will be transformational for the work that they do in Lellman and throughout Pinellas. And so I want to thank, and maybe if we went back when this all started, we might change the process, as at least I remember one commissioner suggesting that we do. I won't tell you which commissioner that was. But we are where we are today, and I think we need to move forward. This money was not meant to be dragged out over a long time. This was meant to be injected into the community to provide economic relief and respond to the impacts of COVID. So, Madam Chair, I would move approval of the staff recommendation as attached in our agenda.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second that.
It has been moved and seconded. Commissioner Justice moved and Commissioner Scott seconded it. Can you please open the card and allow us?
Commissioner Scott.
Commissioner Scott has something.
I was just.
Well, you seconded it, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, he wanted to make comments.
Oh, I'm sorry. You won. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to thank David Jezik for being here, and I've did a construction tour of that facility, and it's going to be beautiful when it's completed. And what I also like about it too, it's within striking distance of Lellman, so I think that's going to be just a great community asset, right? I think it's just very strategically located. So, so I just wanted to say that I support that.
Perfect. Okay. Please open.
I have a clarification.
Yes, sir.
Are we taking the funding away from item number 4 in the staff
Yes,
recommendation?
this is the recommendation sent to you by Kevin last Friday.
Okay, because I didn't see it on our agenda, so I just wanted to make that. Alrighty.
We good?
Yep.
And just for clarification, and that's being split between the 3 organizations that didn't get fully funded?
Let me, yeah, I think Commissioner Justice, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Please open the card for voting. All right. And so,
Passes 5-1.
5-1.
Congratulations.
All right, everybody, thank you all for your participation on that, and we are on to item 43.
Item 43 is Transportation Regional Incentive Grant Program with the Florida Department of Transportation for 126th Avenue North. This request $18.7 million. 50% of the project will be matched by the county. So that's a recommendation.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved. It's been moved and seconded. Please open the voting card. All right. Item 44.
An agreement with Palm Harbor Special Fire Control Rescue District to provide funding towards the purchase of new Squad 65, amount of $600,000.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Justice, second by Commissioner Flowers. Please open the voting card. All right, number 45.
Agreement with Stryker Sales for Stryker Medical for purchase of electrocardiograph monitoring and defibrillators and services. The amount of
Approval.
$6.8 million.
Been moved by Commissioner Justice.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Peters. Please open the card. Number 47.
46.
Votes aren't up yet. Okay.
Yikes.
46 is a memorandum of agreement with the state of Florida to pre-position strategic national stockpile, compact assets, containers within Pinellas County.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner.
Question?
Do you have a question? Yeah. Okay, Commissioner Justice.
Can you just tell us what that really
Jim.
is?
Jim's
We're
on his way
stockpiling
in.
here.
Yeah, right.
I know, but I'll let Jim speak to it.
It's not phosphogypsum, is it?
They've stockpiled that.
Don't say
cell.
that.
Good morning, Jim Fogarty, Director of Safety and Emergency Services. And I've got Craig here that can answer any detailed questions about this. This has been in place for a number of years. It's part of the Strategic National Stockpile. It's an agent that is used for chemical releases that needs to be deployed quickly, and we've for years stockpiled it here in Pinellas County on behalf of the region.
Okay. Thank you.
Everybody good? Right, please open the voting card. All right, that passes unanimously. 47.
This is a memorandum of understanding between CareerSource and Advanced Robotics for Manufacturing Institute.
Move approval.
Second.
Been moved and approved. Please open the voting card. That passes unanimously. 48.
This is the program year 23-24 for planning budget for CareerSource. And Steve, and by the way, Steve Myers is here, so if you have questions, we can.
Move
Hey,
approval.
he's best to answer these.
It's been moved by Commissioner Peters. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Flowers. Please open the voting card. And number 50,
49.
49? Yeah, Steve would really want you to vote on 49. And this is to appoint Steve as the permanent executive director.
Oh, how could I possibly miss
Pierce
this?
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please open the voting card.
See how this one goes, Steve.
And it passes unanimously. Number 50.
This issuance and renewal of certificates of public convenience for non-medical. This is a current certificates expired June 30th. 9 firms on the attached list has renewed applications, and therefore the 9 firms provide both wheelchair and stretcher van services.
Move approval.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Peters, second by Commissioner Justice. Please open the voting cards. And that passes unanimously. 51.
Under item 51, I'm asking for authority to file suit in the referenced case. This is a matter that was investigated by your Office of Human Rights, and it relates to a matter of housing discrimination on the basis of disability.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Peters, second by Commissioner Justice. Please open the board. Okay, and now we are on item 52.
Under item number 52, I recommend you approve staff's recommendation in the confidential settlement memorandum that you were all able to read last week.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Peters, second by Commissioner Scott. Please open the voting card. Okay, and now
I know that we are spending some time here today, but as promised last week, I did, under county attorney reports, want to take the opportunity to introduce a couple of new staff members that I have who have been here watching some of your meeting today. I'm going to start first with Kirby Kreider, who joined us first. That's why I'm starting with her. We got her from the Public Defender's Office, and she's going to be handling litigation for you. So we're transitioning her from criminal to civil right now, but we have a great
Welcome.
staff
Good
able to
job.
do that.
Welcome.
Thank you.
A lot different, huh?
And I'm going to jump past our next one just to introduce Marshall Brandon, who we also got from the Public Defender's Office. No offense to the Public Defender. Marshall.
Get us in trouble with Sarah.
Well, I hope not. Marshall actually just joined us yesterday, and he is going to be learning labor and employment. Some of you that may know Carol Sanzeri, who's been with us for nearly 30 years, is retiring.
Wow.
So Marshall will be embarking on the labor and employment journey here and working with HR and various management throughout the county system.
Welcome.
And then lastly, I want to introduce David Barrera, who joined us a week ago. He joined us from private practice and is going to be working with your code enforcement, building department, and the construction licensing board, among other things.
Very nice. Welcome.
Welcome, all of you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So yes, we've had, like many county departments, we've experienced a little bit more turnover recently than has been the norm in the office. So I wanted to take the opportunity here with 3 new hires to bring them in and introduce them. I know you guys probably get tired of just seeing Don and I all the time. Now, I also want to take the opportunity quickly to invite Amanda Coffey up, who I know is hiding back there.
Yes, behind the pillar. I couldn't even see you.
Amanda was recently awarded the Paul Buckman Award by the City, County, and Local Government section of the Florida Bar, and I'm going to let Don tell you a little bit about what the award is for and why Amanda was recognized.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'll try to be brief, but the Paul S. Buckman Award is an award given annually by the City, County, and Local Government section of the Florida Bar to a local government attorney for outstanding contributions in the area of legal public service. Paul Buckman was the Plant City attorney for 42 years and was the first president or chair of the City, County, Local Government section. Amanda was recognized for her years as she studied and worked through law school as a property appraiser employee. She became general counsel of the Property Appraiser's Office and then joined our office. Through all that time, she's been very active with the City, County, Local Government section and the Stetson Law Review. She served as chair of the City, County, Local Government section in 2021-22, and I can tell you firsthand, She worked very hard working up to that as secretary and chair-elect. She did a lot with our website modernization, and the communication that she has brought to the members of the section has been tremendous and aided a lot in the practice of local government law. So with that, I'm going to stop to be brief. I could go on for a very long time about all of her accomplishments, but please join me and thank you for recognizing her today. So.
Thank you, and thank you for your hard work.
Can I say one thing?
Yep.
Thank you very much. I was so honored to get this award from the section, but I wanted to let you all know that this wouldn't have been possible without the amazing support and mentorship of both Jewel White and Don Kroll, both of who are also past chairs of the section and have been a major support and helped me become the attorney I am today. And I also want to thank all of my comrades in the county attorney's office. It's an amazing office, and their integrity and commitment to excellence and fellowship continue to inspire me. So thank you all very much.
Excellent, thank you.
And that concludes my report.
Okay. Mr. County Administrator.
I will save my comments for tomorrow as you begin your 6 long days of budget information sessions.
Yay, can't wait.
And so, again, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to really outline where we're at with the budget, the challenges that we face, and prepare the kickoff of truthsome decision-making that we're going to have to make over the next couple months.
And with that said, colleagues, you may want to clear your calendars because we will be taking breaks and have lunch those 6 days. Get lots of rest, lots of information to absorb, right? All right, as to number 55, I have asked that this be withdrawn for today because of the changes at the TDC and also in an effort to give Brian Lowak and his team, and Barry and Kevin, an opportunity to meet with the TDC members prior to our next meeting, so.
That's good.
Stay tuned. I contacted Mayor Henderson this morning, and she's in total agreement. Okay? All right, number 56.
I have ballots for that item, Madam Chair.
And Carolyn has ballots for us.
Righty then.
Quick, give them all. Angry commissioners.
Right.
With a vote of 5-1, the board has selected Tammy Hicks for the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee.
Excellent, thank you. And 57, and I understand we have ballots for that as well.
That is correct, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With a vote of 5-1, the board has selected Robert Warner for the Pinellas County Board of Adjustment and Appeals.
Okay, thank you. And number 58, which is an appointment to the Pinellas Career Source Board.
There's only one.
looks like that's pretty easy.
That item, there's one vacancy and one applicant.
Move approval of the
Second.
approval of Mr. Harold Morgan.
Yes, second.
All right, it's been moved and approved. Would you please open the, moved and seconded. Would you please open? Thank you. And number 59, county new business. Do we have new business, Commissioner Latvala?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Today is a solemn day and date in Pinellas County history and in the city of Bel Air. 30 years ago today, Officer Jeff Tackett was killed in the line of duty on Sunday, June 13th, 1993. Officer Jeffrey Tackett was shot and killed as he was attempting to handcuff a prowler suspect. During a struggle, the suspect was able to gain control of Officer Tackett's handgun and use it to shoot him. Officer Tackett was 28 years old when he was killed. The 31-year-old suspect was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. Officer Tackett had served with the Bel Air Police Department for 5 years. He was survived by a young wife. The city of Bel Air this morning held a memorial service to honor his life and dedication and made the ultimate sacrifice for our community. And the sheriff says it best, a hero remembered never dies. And I also wanted to thank our administrator, Barry Burton. Several months ago, I brought up the idea of putting on our county's website a little link or a page to include discounts for first responders and veterans. And Barry's should be mentioned as a veteran himself. And now on our county website, there is a link on our county's website so our heroes can go and see what discounts and benefits are available locally to them. Also, I wanted to mention during a recent PSTA meeting, there was an issue to allow, or action item to allow disabled veterans to ride PSTA for free. Made the motion to allow all veterans to ride for free. It was seconded by Commissioner Peters. So starting November 10th, that will be available to all veterans in Pinellas County. And I wanted to thank Commissioner Peters, Commissioner Flowers, and Commissioner Scott, who all supported that during the PSTA board meeting. Recently, I visited Creative Pinellas, FIU Global Forensic and Justice Center, the Big Brothers Big Sisters lunch, the ELC board meeting, the Sand Key Condo Association. You can take a guess at what we talked about there. The Clearwater Memorial Day ceremony, honoring our heroes who gave the ultimate sacrifice. The Arbor Trace neighborhood, the Big C meeting last week, as well as the Suncoast Center. I wanted to give a congratulations to probably the smartest resident in Pinellas County, and that is Morgan Fitzgerald Middle School student Dev Shaw, who won the National Script Spelling Bee. The word that he won
I couldn't even pronounce it.
was Samophile.
Yeah.
And if any of y'all know how to spell the word Samophile, I will buy you coffee. And that word is a plant or animal that lives in sandy areas. And finally, I wanted to close my report talking about another incredible life. And that was a man by the name of Virgil Sweet, who was a resident in Largo. He was 96 years old. He served in World War II. He spent 25 years as an accomplished high school basketball coach in Indiana. He was a member of the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. His teams, he taught them a technique on a different way of shooting free throws. And his teams were renowned for their free throw shooting. And so they won multiple championships. He was an avid tennis player up until he was 96 years old. In Largo as part of their city tennis things that they do. When he turned 96, I sent him a letter. He wrote me a very interesting letter in response that I will share with y'all privately. That definitely made me laugh. But he was quite a character. But this past weekend, he passed away. But he lived an incredible life. 96 years old, World War II veteran, and esteemed coach. So rest in peace, Virgil. And condolences to his friends. And that's all I have.
Thank you. That was a very interesting report, Commissioner Latvala. And I do believe that we are making every effort to bring the young student here to a county commission meeting so we can all meet him. So we may think of an
We did reach out.
interesting word that we could use to stump him while he's here. Wouldn't that be fun?
He's going to get it right.
Commissioner Peters.
Oh, a PSTA, we're working on budget like we're working here, so that's pretty much going on at every agency. But other than that, no. The Opiate Abatement Task Force met. I did get a phone call from Lee Constantine that they are going to put a recommendation for me to be on the state Opiate Abatement Task Force.
Nice.
So we're waiting on the governor's approval for that. And other than that, that's all I have.
Well, congratulations on your appointment.
And Yak, you saw Yak today, so yeah.
There you go. Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank Commissioner Latvala for reminding us of the solemn anniversary of Officer Jeffrey Tackett. Since our last meeting, I've had an opportunity to tour HCA Hospital of Pasadena and see all the great things they do down there. They have hyperbaric chambers, which is really kind of interesting what they do there to help cancer patients heal and people that are recovering from major surgeries. Had an opportunity to meet with the Tampa Bay Beaches Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and give them an update on county business and get feedback from them. I attended a ribbon cutting of the Early Learning Coalition's new Early Learning Park and Trail at Largo Central Park about a week or two ago. Also attended the groundbreaking ceremony in Mulberry for Space Florida Ocean Green and Low Carbon for the first clean hydrogen production facility in Florida, which was really interesting. I was also there with Commissioner Eggers and a few other elected officials. Had a chance to meet with the St. Pete Chambers Policy Group and discuss items of importance to them and things that the St. Pete Chamber and the county can work together on. And then finally had a meeting last week with Affordable Housing Board, and we discussed at length the new state legislation and how that affects things going forward. So it was a good meeting.
Excellent. Yep. Commissioner Flapp.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Would like to publicly express my condolences to Representative Michelle Rayner on the passing of her mom, which is Miss Harriet Singletary. She was an integral part of the civil rights movement and was one of several students that integrated the University of South Florida. She achieved her degree in the field of social work and worked in that area since that time. Up until her retirement. So just wanted to acknowledge that. I did attend the Oldsmar Memorial Day along with Commissioner Charlie Justice, and Senator Ed Hooper was there, and I don't think any other. But it was a very lovely service, and I had a chance to meet several retired military, one gentleman from the Air Force who had just retired and relocated his family to Oldsmar and talked about how much he loved the Pinellas County community. So that was really nice. Don't have to talk about PSTA. We have heard a little bit as it relates to reports on them. The Florida Association of Counties Conference is coming up the end of this month. It should be very, very interesting and very well attended. So thank you all so much for that. I had a chance to sit on a virtual call with the Florida Association of Counties Finance Committee. And it is nice to know that the organization, as it represents us on a larger scale, is in good shape financially. We went through its audit processes. It's in your audit reports and what's going forward. So I feel really good about them and their representation. Juneteenth will be on June 19th. There are a lot of events going on. Clearwater is having a whole week of events and activities. Marilyn Thurman is a person that you can reach out to if you so desire to attend one of those events. But it seems like they're going to be really nice and really educational and certainly fun. And of course, there are Juneteenth events going on in other communities throughout the county. So if you have a chance to slide by, please do so and please attend. And that is all that I have.
Mr. Justice?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank BTS and Lou and whoever else got us these wonderful little iPads up here that are hardwired so we don't have those internet lags about our voting cards. So as much as I complain about them to Barry, I want to say it worked. Everything worked flawlessly today. So let me just say that. I was sorry to hear about Virgil. Anyone who's been in local government for any period of time has gotten his emails and his thoughts on matters. So sorry to hear about his passing. Just since last we met, I did attend the Oldsmar Memorial Day with Commissioner Flowers and others. Many of us attended the Habitat dedications. We just did the 800th just shortly a while ago. Last week did 828, 829, and 830. 2 of those in Lellman and 1 in St. Pete. Representative Cross and Senator DeSigley hosted Farm Share at the Lellman Family Center. Commissioner Flowers and I and others were there. Had the chance to speak to the USF YMCA Civic Fellows Program at USF St. Petersburg with Dr. McLaughlin's group. Great opportunity there. We had our Area Agency on Aging of Pasco Pinellas meeting yesterday. We received our audit yesterday, a completely clean audit, I think for like the 30th year in a row. And the thing that stuck out to me was that of our full funding program, and fair to say that it's mainly a pass-through, but still with our full funding program, 95% of the funds go to programs and services, and just about 5% go to administration, which is laudable for any organization. So congratulate Anne Marie Winter and everyone at her team. And then just finally, I want to congratulate last week, inducted into the Florida Law Enforcement Officers Hall of Fame was former St. Pete Detective Anthony Peterson, who I don't have the pleasure of knowing, and a lot of us known for a long time and good friends with the former Chief of Police in Pinellas Park, Doreen Thomas. So wish them congratulations. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And I will make my report as short as I can, but I wanted you all to know that I did attend the IPW convention in San Antonio along with the staff from the TDC. And it is the largest trade show for tourism in the entire United States. And it was fascinating to see some of the folks from around the world that also attend it and how excited they are about not only our TDC, but Visit Tampa Bay. And so it's in some of the discussions that I was in, I brought back some very interesting new ideas, which I'm excited to talk to Kevin and Barry and Brian about. We do have our T-BARTA last meeting coming up in the month of August, which is a little sad, but I'm sure that between Forward Pinellas and the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council, we're going to be able to fill the void that will leave. I'm sorry about Representative Rayner's mom, Commissioner Flowers, and thank you, Commissioner Latvala, for reminding us all of Officer Tackett. And also, when I hear his name, I cannot help but think of our former colleague, Commissioner John Maroney, and the legacy that he left with regard to our fallen officers. And it reminds me that between his annual gala and Mental Health for Heroes, we are trying to fill his void being here on the county commission. I know that Commissioner Eggers isn't here because he's under the weather today, but he would certainly want me to remind all of you and anyone else watching that the honor flight is coming into Pye this evening, and that's bringing back our World War II veterans from their annual trip to Washington, D.C. I did take a tour of and a walk through the entire neighborhood of Arbor Trace. I share their concerns about the drainage, the improvements that were planning for over there, and I'm excited that the staff and Barry and everyone is looking at how to make the fact that they have the horses over there still be able to get in and out of their stables and continue the work. I did speak at the Tampa Bay Beaches Tourism Allied lunch breakfast that they had earlier this month. And if you haven't taken a tour of the CASA facilities, I would encourage you to do so. It's just like getting on a military installation. But I was surprised at the numbers of families, moms and children, and some men as well, that they have living there, and some of the rest of the work that they're doing. I did not know that they are building a second justice center in Clearwater, which has already been approved, and land was given to them by the city of Clearwater. They even have an area for pets, and only 3% of shelters in the country have room for the survivors of domestic abuse to bring their pets. It was interesting that they had a dog there who just had puppies. They had 3 baby puppies there. And they also had infants, 2 newborns that were at the shelter, and that made me very sad. So they did have an ask for funding from the Social Action Fund. They didn't get it last year, and it's really important to the ongoing operations of the facility. I also visited with Santiago Carrata at Visit Tampa Bay, Steve Minner at the Tampa International Airport, and D.T. Minnick, who some of you may know from when he was here before as the president of our TDC. And that is the end of my report for today, I do believe.
Madam Chair,
Yes?
Commissioner Latvala.
Yes, ma'am.
Samuelfield, P.S.
Let me look at my notes because I had to write it down.
P.S.A.M.M.O.
Are you? What are you?
I'm looking at you. P.S.A.M.M.O.P.H.I.L.E. Samuelfield.
And therein is what the doctor's
I
degree will get you,
I
Commissioner
look forward
Latvala.
to
Can I get
having
my
coffee with you. You are correct.
I'm messing with you.
Anybody else for the good of the order? If not, then we are adjourned. And thanks to Tony Stillo and Kelly Loudis. They have ordered pizza for us in the conference room. Thank